All season is still young, but the plot already thickens. This is the CFL on CBC in HD. And this is bad news if it's serious.
Michael Bishop sustained an injury to his right wrist. Bishop has a fracture to the distal radius. He's expected to be on the sidelines for 6 to 8 weeks.
After their last meeting in Toronto, the Stampeders and Argos both limped away with serious damage. 2 straight blowout losses force Calgary to unite and win, or risk a slide into the division basement. Will a rising star meet the challenge for Toronto or hand the torch back to a fading legend? Who will step up and conquer adversity, and who will crumble in its wake? The answer will unfold tonight. From McMahon Stadium in Calgary, it's the rematch of a home-and-home series between the Toronto Argonauts and Calgary Stampeders. And the Stamps are counting on home field to help them bounce back from a horrible road trip. 2 lopsided losses to Toronto and Saskatchewan, and big expectations here at home tonight. Calgary has won 7 consecutive games here in McMahon going back to last season, but tonight's game is full of question marks. Good evening, I'm Mark Lee, along with the big man, Chris Walby. Let's start with the Argos, Chris, with Michael Bishop injured. Mike McMahon makes his first CFL start in the CFL as quarterback, but he's heading up a Toronto team missing its 2 best receivers. Arlen Bruce and Tony Miles are both hurt.
Woo, that makes your task a lot tougher when you lose your big playmakers. But the fact is, let's talk about Mike McMahon, because he's not your typical first-year rookie quarterback. This is a 5-year NFL veteran. But he threw the ball in anger last in 2005 for the Philadelphia Eagles. The only reason he came to Canada was because Mike Pinball Clemens says, we will give you an opportunity to play. Let's see if Mike McMahon can make the most of that as he plays at McMahon Stadium today.
Well, he did say, I'm not coming to the CFL to be a backup. Here's his chance tonight. How about Calgary's vaunted offense? They've been shooting blanks for the last 2 games, and an experiment tonight with a major lineup change.
Well, they've been playing ugly, and you got to send a message to the offense, and they did that by benching Nick Lewis, their leading receiver the past couple of years. But the story really is about another player, Jermaine Copeland. 2003, he led the CFL in receiving yards, was over 1,700. And then last year, all he was worried about was producing touchdown dances rather than producing on the football field. Yep. Came to camp, better attitude, better shape. Hasn't said a thing about not playing as much. He's going to get a chance to start tonight. I think he's a spark this Calgary Stampeder offense needs today.
Wow, though Nick Lewis benched after 57 consecutive starts. How about your game notes, big man?
Well, I'll tell you what, let's talk about Toronto offensively. We got to exploit the inexperienced. Toronto must take advantage of all the new faces, 6 new faces on the Stampeder defense. Exploit them early and often on defense. Keep Burris guessing. This Argo defense is #1 for a reason. They keep disguising their defenses. Quarterbacks have trouble. 10 turnovers last time these teams met. On the other side of the ball, offense, chemistry 101. Hey, it's simple, folks. Too many penalties, drop balls, too many turnovers. You must create chemistry to be successful today. And baptism by fire, we mentioned this already. 6 new faces on the defense. They must trust in their abilities to get the job done against a tough Argo offense.
Yes, 2 veterans cut after last week's double losses in that secondary. Look at the weather, though, here in Calgary tonight. 27 degrees, a slight wind, and a big sky over a fast track here in the foothills. It doesn't seem that long ago that Pinball traded his jersey for a whistle, but tonight's game marks his 110th game as an Argo head coach, surpassing the legend Leo Cahill. And Tom Higgins gave his team 3 days off after that horrible road trip, Chris. He got real tough in practice. They put on some pads. He cut a couple of veterans and benched a star receiver. And we'll see if it works tonight at home. And it's Marcus Howell from his 15-yard line, breaks a tackle on Jermaine Mays and makes his way to the 40-yard line. A 28-yard return for Marcus Howell, and great field position The Calgary Stampeders, Henry Burris, after an outstanding season opener against Hamilton. Burris pulled in his past 2 games against Saskatchewan and Toronto. Not all his fault, though, Chris. He has been the victim of 12 drop passes.
Well, that'll stall any offensive drive. I mean, and it's not only that. I mean, 18 penalties for over 155 yards. That's nullified drives as well. Got to play smart.
Burris in the shotgun, 4 receivers to the wide side. Play action on first down, and he's got a completion. It's Jermaine Copeland, the veteran, and he's very close to a first down.
Well, Henry Burris definitely wants to get out early and often, build some momentum from this Calgary offense. Been struggling as of late. Nice job of just getting a little half roll and getting to the ball. We mentioned the pregame, Jermaine Copeland.
So they go to Copeland first as the Stamps scrap their receiver rotation and bench Nick Lewis, looking for continuity and cohesiveness on offense. 2nd and 1 on the ground, up the middle, and it's the big fullback, Gerald Commissiong, with a first down carry for the Stampeders. How about the Toronto D? And it's one of the best in the league already, Chris.
Well, they lead 15 to 25 defensive categories. They're number 1. They are very tough. Only allowed 3 touchdowns so far this season. Actually, only 30 points in 3 games, averaging 10 points a game for you mathematicians out there. I mean, they really can get it done. They've got some substitutions today. We'll see if they can fill the voids.
In 5 games against this Rich Stubler defense, Henry Burris has thrown just 4 touchdowns versus 8 interceptions. And there's already an injured ball player as Pat Clayton, the athletic therapist for the Stampeders, heads out onto the field to address the fallen Stampeder. And it looks like it's Jay McNeil, the veteran guard.
Wow, they can ill afford to lose the 14-year veteran because he really is the mainstay on that offensive line. Remember last time they played, Garrick Jones and Comiskey, the center and left tackle, left the game, couldn't finish the game. So you can ill afford to lose your left guard, Jay McNeil.
McNeil, a 14-year veteran, getting caught on that short yardage dive play. And he's still down at midfield.
It didn't look to be anything related to the legs, as we saw the legs behind the pile, so perhaps a shoulder injury as he goes down. He's a veteran, he's tough, he'll be back.
And Ron Laffio, the 10-year veteran, obtained in a trade before the season for Wes Cates from Saskatchewan, will come in to replace Jay McNeil at that left guard position. The Stamps offensive line, which has already been under scrutiny this week in practice after being rather porous in protection for Henry Burris, loses the ringleader, Jay McNeil. But it doesn't look too serious.
And remember this week, Tom Higgins put these guys in full pads.
Yep.
Trying to make a point.
First down, Stamps with 4 receivers to the wide side. And that's where Burris is throwing, and it's incomplete. Kenyon Rambo making the start at the wide side wide receiver position, falling but can't hold on.
Well, the Argo defense, they do a great job of playing a 4 deep, where they line 4 people deep and make you throw underneath. So the key is to find the holes. You see Kenyon Rambo finds a hole, but the ball is just delivered away from where he can catch the ball. It does a nice valiant effort to try and catch it, but again, falls incomplete and got another 2nd down situation.
Tom Higgins saying he wants to use the same receiving set, not have the rotation, not having guys coming in and out of the lineup, so Burris to get on the same page with his receivers. 2nd and long, and the Argos bringing blitz. The ball is intercepted, but whistled down as Steinauer holds on to the football in the secondary. Bud Steen is the referee tonight here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary.
We always love those scrums as each of them think the other person is offside.
Illegal procedure. Calgary, number 68, it's a 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Now Rob Lazio just comes in to replace the injured Jay McNeil.
Penalties already rearing their ugly head here for the Stampeders. Last week they had 18 for 155 yards against the Argos.
And he just jumps. I mean, it's one of those anticipation things. You see the blitz coming from the Argos, and you try and get there before the ball is snapped.
Tom Higgins decrying the penalties that have hurt this team. They are the most penalized team in the CFL, along with Hamilton. The most yards in penalties. And now another flag. And what looks like a time count violation it is against the quarterback, Henry Burris. The fans are already grousing.
Well, they're not happy with the way this offense has been performing the last couple of weeks, and the fact is this is not how you want to start. He comes out, he completes his first pass, then they get a penalty, and now they get another one for procedure. Now they got a time count.
They looked a little confused, especially Burris, as he came to the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 20 in a big second down and long conversion. Argos drop 9. Burris with time. Downfield is complete to Brett Ralph. He has the first down and more. Finally dropped by the safety, Orlando Steinauer, at the Toronto 30-yard line. A huge conversion for Calgary.
Well, it all starts with the protection up front. They're only going to rush 3. That means you got 5 blockers on 3. Your quarterback shouldn't be touched. He should sit there all day and wait for the receiver, in this instance, Brett Ralph, to come open. He's just going to come across the middle. And what he does is he finds an opening in that coverage. If you're going to sit 4 deep back, you've got to find between the 2 defenders. That's exactly what he did.
Henry Burris completed less than 50% of his passes last week in Toronto, but he's looked sharp here to start the first series. A hitch pass outside to Rambo. He beats the first tackler and then is swarmed across the 25-yard line near the out-of-bounds side. It's Byron Parker, the corner, with the tackle for Toronto.
It'll be interesting. I like the way that he's utilizing his receivers to the left and the wide side of the field, but I'm wondering, we may have to see a little bit of Joffrey Reynolds sprinkled in there, because remember, you cannot just throw the ball. This is a #1 defense against the pass.
Yes, the Argo secondary has been suffocating CFL passing offenses. 2nd and 5. Play action, pressure. Burris will run, diving for the first down. And remember, Chris, in the season opener, Burris ran for 99 yards against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and it really opened the offense.
Well, it's interesting they're going to run a little play action with Joffrey Reynolds when they haven't even given the ball yet. So, I mean, they don't bite on it. He almost gets sacks. His athletic ability allows him to pick up the first down. Take a look at Jermaine Copeland, wide open in between the coverage.
In 2 losses to Saskatchewan and Toronto, Burris ran just twice in each of those games. 1st and 10 from the 17, a bunch formation. They give to the big running back, Joffrey Reynolds, slashing off tackle, bulldozing his way for a first down inside the Argo 5.
The Argo defense has typically been known as so tough to throw the ball against, but they have given up rushing yards. Now, hey, this year they're doing a better job. They're only averaging 67 yards against. But when you got a guy that rushed for 1,500 yards last year and you don't give him the football, shame on you. Good job on the offensive line going against that guy, the coordinator, Rich Stubler.
It's a bend-don't-break defense. We'll see what they do now. Backed up to their own 3-yard line. 1st and goal, bunch formation, Calgary. On the ground, Kamish Young is hammered. Chuck Winters making contact, filling from the secondary with help from Willie Pyle, and the gain is maybe a yard.
Chuck Winters, who's filling in for Kenny Wheaton, one of the hardest hitters in that secondary, does a nice job of filling, but they do a nice job of not going with the flow. They line up Reynolds to the outside, and that's called staying exactly where you're supposed to stay in your zone.
No gain on the play. This drive starting from their own 40. Make it 2nd and goal from the 3. Stamps have been prolific in the red zone so far this year. Play action. Burris throws. Joffrey Reynolds, touchdown. Joffrey Reynolds, the leading receiver on this Calgary team in the early part of the season, has a 3-yard touchdown reception.
And Joffrey Reynolds with his 2nd touchdown reception of the year. And this is a running back last year, Mark, did not have 1 receiving touchdown.
That's 11 catches to lead this Calgary receiving corps. Oddly, the running back leading the way, and the opening drive of this game hits the end zone for the Stampeders. Their 5th touchdown in 7 trips now to the red zone, along with a field goal.
Violation. So Calgary, number 12, 5-yard penalty.
the kicker being charged, DeAngelis, and they'll move it back to the 10-yard line for the point after.
Be smart, fellas, be
It
smart.
was a time count violation against DeAngelis. The ball is pinned up and good. Joffrey Reynolds stakes the Stamps to an early 7-point lead at home. The Calgary passing attack under a lot of heat here at home, and they convert on their first series.
Well, they want to run a little play action pass. There's Joffrey Reynolds. Here's the cover guy. That's Kevin Ivan. Let's run this play, guys. Play action. Leak him through. Now watch this freezer right here, guys, and tell you what. Look at the position he puts him in. He's got to take him, or does he take him? That's a no-win situation. As he comes to the quarterback, he just dumps it off to Reynolds, and 3 yards later, it's a touchdown. Nice job by Burris.
Ball is in the air. And Bashar Livingston, all the way back to his own 5, goes down at the 13-yard line. Mark Calixt was downfield early, and the return limited to just 8 yards. Mike McMahon in his first CFL start at quarterback, a 5-year NFL veteran. Those are his NFL numbers. He is the 3rd Argo starting quarterback in 4 games. And Damon Allen, the starter in week 1, moves from number 3 to number 2 on the depth chart as the backup with the injury last week to Michael Bishop. Tough field position for McMahon's opening series. He goes with 6 receivers, throwing a short look-in pass. It's incomplete, intended for Frank Murphy.
Well, we saw him in pre-game just kind of trying to throw to a spot to lead the receivers. If we take a look at that offense, the backfield, McMahon, as we talked about, Jamal White, what a hit he took from Trey Young last week, got a little bit of concussion. He's back today. How good is it to have Daryl Mitchell right now, because they've lost Bruce and Miles for this game, and a good offensive line with Costa on the left tackle, place of Pearson.
Daryl Mitchell coming into the game needing just 28 yards to break Paul Masadi's all-time Argo receiving record. 2nd and 10. Stampeders rushing 5. A flag on the play. McMahon's pass is incomplete, intended for the rookie Obed Satut at the far sideline. And the indication is procedure against the Argonauts.
Well, defensive coordinator
Offside.
Danny Crehan.
Toronto, 77. Penalties decline. It's 3rd down.
Well, Michael Palmer with the offside, the procedure. But, I mean, that's what you want to do. If you got a new quarterback in there, you want to pressure him. Do not let him sit back there and get any kind of comfort zone. Great job of bringing the blitz, forcing him to get rid of the ball before he wanted to.
Well, starting that deep in your own end, that already limits your play list. And so McMahon with 2 incompletions and 2 and out. And a punting situation for Noel Prefontaine from his goal line. A line drive to Marcus Howell, backing him up to the 46. Howell straight up the middle and dropped on the play as Kevin Ivan comes up to make a special teams tackle for the Argonauts. This is the CFL on CBC. The Argo defense is number 2 against the run in this early season, and one of the big reasons is this man, Adriano Belli, who's wearing the mic tonight.
Mic'd Up, brought to you by Rogers, Canada's most reliable wireless network.
I want you. Let's go. I need you. Let's go. But there ain't no way I'm ever gonna love you. Now don't be sad, because 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
The poetic Adriano Belli. Is that what you did when you warmed up?
I just hope they're not roommates.
On 1st down, a fumble. Joffrey Reynolds jumping on it. Was it a fumble or a pitch? Because the ball came out on contact, and it may have been an ill-timed toss, and Reynolds had to be quick to get on the football.
Well, it's being documented so much about the turnovers that this offense has done to shoot themselves in the foot. And this is Jermaine Copeland, who realizes he's going to get tackled and tries to improvise on the play and almost cost him a turnover.
Turnover is a dirty word here in Calgary. 10 of them in the last game against the Argos. A loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Burris in the shotgun. In the flats, complete to Joffrey Reynolds, and Fletcher ties him up right at the line of scrimmage for a gain of 1 on the play.
And Henry Burris is going to have to disregard Joffrey Reynolds on this play. This is a bait play by the Argo defense. They're going to let him run out to the flat, wide open, but watch the pursuit. You got 3 guys coming there. That's absolutely what you want him to do.
To the sidelines, and our quarterback tonight, Kahari Jones.
Thanks, guys. To your point, Henry Burris has got to not just look over to him and make sure that he's looking downfield, especially when they're only rushing 4 guys. He did it great in the first series that they had, and he's going to have to continue to do that when they only rush 3.
Burke Dales had a punt block last week by Michael Fletcher. Gets a beauty away here. Deep into the end zone. It goes over the head of Bashar Livingston and out of touch. A huge punt single for Burke Dales. Mike McMahon getting set to come back on the field at quarterback for his 2nd series. At the helm in his first CFL start in what is a big opportunity for him.
When I'm out there, my whole focus is going to be on Calgary's defense and then getting the ball to the playmakers on our side. You know, I'm not going to be sitting there wondering what's, you know, am I doing good enough as coach? Think I'm doing, you know, as long as I'm doing my job out there and taking care of it, everything will take care of itself.
So McMahon starting at the 35 after an 80-yard punt single by Burke Dales. Handing off, and Jamel White goes up the gut for 5 on his first carry of the evening.
Well, the Calgary defense is going to have their hands full with Jamal White. Kieran Williams in the middle is the man that's got to plug that running game up. Garjoul is the guy that put out Bishop last game. The linebacking crew, Scott Cohen, Clark getting a start back there, and the 2 new guys at the halfback, Stewart and Williams. They'll be tested early and often today.
It's a Calgary defense that surrendered 12 touchdowns during the road trip, 6 in each of the 2 losses to Saskatchewan and Toronto. 2nd and 5. McMahon wants to go deep, and a mix-up there as he threw a deep ball, and Satut, the rookie Canadian, broke out to the sideline. And so the offense for Toronto heads to the sideline in another punt situation.
Well, there's a bonus here. I mean, the fact is they're not on the same page offensively. The receiver, as you say, runs it out. He throws it down the field on the same thing and say Satut's going to go deep. The fact is the only benefit is that McMahon had 10 days between games, so he's had more time to study the film. He hasn't been put in that short week situation.
Damon Allen conversing with Steve Barato, the offensive coordinator on the Argo sideline. The big story, too, in addition to McMahon's start, the loss of Arlen Bruce and Tony Miles to injury, which means just 2 imports in the Argo receiving corps, and some young Canadians trying to help out. A short punt to Marcus Howell at the 31, and he's taken down by Wayne Shaw, the former Tiger Cat, picked up as a free agent after being released in Hamilton a week ago. The 55th season of the CFL on CBC. Tonight from McMahon Stadium, brought to you in high definition. And Chris, a special hello to our men and women of the armed services, many of them in harm's way tonight, looking in from the Middle East and Afghanistan. Hope you're enjoying tonight's broadcast from Calgary. First down at the 36. Burris handing off in a gaping hole for Joffrey Reynolds. And Reynolds running roughshod in a big first down as they move the sticks across the 50. A gain of 15 for Reynolds.
Well, if this is any indication, I would expect to see a lot of 21. Look at the hole. That is a great job of not only your lineman getting on somebody, but Mark Bolrichter getting down the field and picking up a linebacker and springing Joffrey Reynolds for big yardage.
Joffrey Reynolds opened the season with 93 yards and a touchdown on the ground against Hamilton, but hasn't been that effective the last 2 games. Looks great here tonight. Burris wants to go deep. He's got a man wide open. It's Copeland. He's got it.
Mark, it's one of these situations where the Argo defense says, we know how good we are, but I love the aggressiveness shown by the Stampeder offense. You know what? We know you're number 1 against the pass. Let's see how good you really are. They go deep. The guy that got his opportunity to start again, Jermaine Copeland, great job of going down, finding the football, and putting himself in a situation where only he can grab it.
It's a 46-yard gain, and the Stamps are in the red zone again. A challenge flag has now been thrown by the Argo head coach, Pinball Clemens. He wasn't convinced that was a catch. And so a challenge early from the Argo sideline.
Well, the challenge is always good. The first one doesn't cost you a timeout, and if it's a big play like this is, and you can nullify it, that can give your defense some momentum back, because right now the Stampeder offense has got all the momentum.
Bud Steen conferring with his officials. And now to the pinball. Henry Burris so far tonight, Chris, good on 6 of 7 attempts, 103 yards and 1 touchdown against the #1 rated pass defense in the CFL.
And doing some nice things by attacking the seams deep.
So Bud Steen, with a little microphone trouble, will head to the sideline and review the catch by Copeland. Copeland, who started the season, Chris, as a part-time receiver and really has become a leader on this team. There's another look at the catch, and I don't see the ball hitting the turf.
Yeah, it looked like it might have hit as he simultaneously as he went to the turf. Let's take another look at another angle here.
You have to have possession and make contact with the field. He has it there. He is down. Question is, did he maintain possession in the eyes of Bud Steen?
Well, that's the thing. Remember this, the ground can't cause the ball to come loose, right? It's an incompletion. You got to secure the football. Watch as he rolls over now. He does not have control of that ball.
You're saying it's not a completion.
I'm saying that they talked about this in the offseason. The new rule is going to be that when you go down on the ground, you must secure that ball. And as you make contact with the ground, you still got to control the ball. Doesn't look like he does on that play as he rolls over. Ball comes loose.
This is going to be interesting because you're right. He didn't have a secure hold on the ball, but he still had possession. He rolled from one shoulder to the other, and then the ball came out. The Calgary offense staying on the field, awaiting the ruling on this first challenge by the Toronto Argonauts on a 46-yard pass and run play from Burris to Copeland.
Mark, we saw this situation in the playoff game where the Calgary Stampeders were also involved, where the receiver came down, got hit, came down on the ground, rolled over. We thought, both of us thought it was a catch, and they ruled after looking at that it was not.
Let's look at that catch or no catch at regular speed. I think it's a catch.
That's a tough call, and that's why they're going to have to evaluate, as they say, because of the fact that their new ruling, and I'm going to restate this again. They say the ground, you must secure it after contact with the ground. If the ball comes loose, it's not a catch.
This was a huge controversy in a game between these two very teams when Ron Johnson dropped a ball in Toronto, and it was ruled a no catch in the bang-bang concept. Here's the ruling. So it's no catch.
No catch. No catch for Copeland.
It is no catch on the ruling by Bud Steen, and the decision obviously that Copeland didn't have possession of the football secure enough when he made contact with the field. I'm not sure I agree with you, Chris.
Well, that's the thing they were stating. We went to their meetings in the offseason, and they all said it's all about possession now. You must have possession when you come in contact with the ground. No ifs, ands, or buts. Fans aren't going to like it. Copeland certainly doesn't like it. They're showing it on the Jumbotron now. Fans obviously angry.
But he's laying there on his back with the football in his arms, and the play is over.
Now, I'll tell you, last year's one, when you mentioned Ron Johnson, I thought that was a catch because he had the ball a little longer. This one, I can see why they called it no catch.
Copeland is furious, and Burris trying to compose the offense. Second down now, 10 to go from the Calgary 51. Argos blitzing. Burris in the pocket, throwing downfield for Copeland. It's too high and incomplete. And so the Stamps go from a red zone opportunity to punting the football away as Chuck Winters helps break up that play.
And that's what the challenge does to the game, and the fact that, you know, Pinball Clemens throws the flag down, challenges a call, instead of, as you say, having the ball offensively, the Stampeders in scoring territory. Now you come back, you're second, you've lost some of your zip. You're a little angry about the call.
Well, it's huge for a Toronto team whose offense has been struggling with two and outs already. Burke Dales, who is a little deeper in this game than he was last week when he had one blocked by Fletcher, angling it to the near sideline. And Livingston over the shoulder at his own 5. A flag down. And Bashar Livingston, who's not 100% here tonight and was nearly a scratch before this game, has just a 7-yard return of a 52-yard punt by Burke Dales. And we'll see what the penalty is here.
Yeah, it's probably going to go against the return team.
Holding against the Argonauts. So again, atrocious field position for Pinball Clements offense for their 3rd offensive series. A reminder, tomorrow, the year's biggest soccer tournament wraps up in Toronto. It's the medal matches of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, with Austria and Chile playing for bronze at noon Eastern, followed by the gold medal match, the Czech Republic against 5-time champion Argentina, tomorrow on CBC television. First down, Argos backed up to their own 3-yard line. So a tough initiation for McMahon. Second series starting deep in his own end. McMahon in the end zone, throwing downfield. It's way overthrown for Andre Talbot and incomplete. Kahari from the sideline.
Guys, what I'm seeing from Mike McMahon so far is throwing off of his back foot. The last 3 throws, including that one, he's not stepping into his throws, and that's one of the things that happens when you haven't played regularly since 2005. You have to go back to the fundamentals, and I think he's going to have problems until he's able to throw off his front foot.
McMahon 0 for 4 tonight.
I'm also wondering, as you say, Kahari, is the fact that the Stampeder defense is putting some pressure on him right now, is forcing him not to get comfortable and settle down.
Yeah, but the last 2 plays, I don't even think he had pressure on him. I think he's almost imagining it.
4-man rush. McMahon in the end zone, flushed. He'll run for the first time, head down, and he's tackled very close to the first down marker. He might be just inches shy as the newcomer Brandon Stewart from Eastern Arizona College makes the tackle. One of the new DBs in the lineup here tonight after Jermaine Chapman and Brandon Haw were cut last week.
They're going to bring the sticks into measure for a first down. Nice job of McMahon not forcing this. He's trying to find something. It's all covered downfield. Decides to tuck the ball away. He's going to have to learn about the slide, because right now you can see he's just going leading with his head. Boy, I tell you, you can take some punishment that way.
And they're about the length of a football shy of the first down when they're on their own 14-yard line. And so the Argos will send their punt team on, and that's the 3rd offensive series for Toronto that has gone nowhere. 3 2-and-outs.
I'm a little surprised by this call, because you want to create some kind of momentum for your offense. You've got less than a yard to go. Quarterback sneak, you should get it. But by putting the punt team out, you're sending a message that you have no confidence in your offensive unit right now. And I tell you, when you got a new quarterback, he's going to feel that and feed off that.
Bill Dietrich, the quarterback and receivers coach, conversing with McMahon. There's Michael Bishop here with the broken wrist, helping on the sideline as Prefontaine will give up a 2-point safety, 3 yards deep inside his end zone. So the Argos, mired in their own end, can't dig themselves out, give up a safety. And Henry Burris so far has been terrific through the air after dealing with a week of controversy, Chris Walby, when some newspaper reports had him pointing fingers at receivers making mistakes. He says it was all taken out of context.
I've always said that we have to play better. And when I say we, I mean, I'm talking about me too. You know, I've never criticized teammates ever in my life, and I'll never do that now. If I have, I'll do it behind closed doors.
I think Burris is a terrific young man and a real leader of this football team. But, you know, when things don't go well, everybody starts to look at what's going wrong. And
you know what, Mark, I agree with that, but I'll tell you right now, if you're getting lambasted in 2 games in a row, somebody should say something. You can't sit back there and hold hands and say everything's just great. Somebody should be a leader, stand up there, and you know what? Put the finger on some guy and say, you got to pick it up.
You know, Burris said he was so embarrassed by the 2 blowout losses, 97-23 combined against Saskatchewan, Toronto. He said, I didn't want to show my face in public this week here in Calgary.
From that front, you saw 14 turnovers as well.
Yes, 10 in the last game alone against the Argos. Prefontaine kicking off after giving up the 2-point safety. And it's Marcus Howell from his own 16. Howell upfield, And Brian Crawford, the young Canadian backup running back in his 3rd year out of Queens, with a big special teams tackle.
Runs into the Argonauts.
Henry Burris, who has been sharp through the air against a pass defense that can confuse quarterbacks, is in sync with his receivers and his O-coordinator, George Cortez, here tonight so far.
Well, he's in sync, but he's also, you know, I mean, the Argos are hampered by the fact, as you say, that their offense keeps going 2 and out. This defense, if it stays on, I don't care how good you are, if they're on the field all game, it's eventual that Calgary's going to exploit them.
Burris 5 of 8 so far. And the Stampeders winning the field position game. Another terrific start from their own 34 this time. Burris in the pocket, short drop under pressure. Now he runs for the 2nd time, and he's chipped up on the play by the rookie Willie Pyle.
Dodging tackles.
It'll be a gain of 3, 2nd and 7 for the Stampeder offense. Willie Pyle, who was put on the Argo negotiation list back in 2003, went to the NFL, and they finally got their hands on him this year.
Well, they really like what he can do. This is his 3rd start. They feel that he's really solidifying his start at that linebacker position.
So 2nd and 7. Stampeders trying to spread the Argo defense. 3 receivers wide, 2 to the short side. Argos blitzing, a flag on the play, and it looked like the Argos were across the line early, but we'll see what the call is.
It definitely looked like Riel Johnson, the top side, wide side defensive end, jumped the gun, tried to anticipate that count.
Offside Toronto. That'll make it 2nd and 2.
That's who they're calling. Riel Johnson, back from an injury, missed last week. He's just at the top here. Just going to try and anticipate that snap count. That's what quarterbacks do. You got to change up the count to take the advantage away from the defense. Don't let them anticipate that snap count.
Final minute of the opening quarter, dominated by the Calgary offense. 2nd and 2. 4 receivers wide. A mix-up there as Burris turned the wrong way in the backfield. Now running for his life. He'll have the 1st down as Winters takes him out at the Argo bench. 1st down on a broken play for Henry Burris.
That's all Burris, because as you say, Reynolds didn't expect the ball. He turned around trying to give him something. Tried to give him a little handoff. As he comes, well, there's nobody there. Run for your life. Does a nice job of using a little stiff arm with the left arm, keeping Steinhauer away, and then uses his legs to pick up the 1st down.
Steinhauer, who fed with 3 picks against the Calgary quarterbacks last week, the defensive player of the week in the CFL. 1st and 10 from the Calgary 45. Stamps in a double tight formation this time. Burris, short drop. A quick look in, complete to Jermaine Copeland, and Copeland across the midfield stripe for a 1st down to the sidelines, and Kahari Jones.
Looking at Henry Burris on the sidelines, what I'm seeing right now is a lot of patience, but I've also seen this the last couple of games that they played. They've gone off to good starts, and that's where the problems have broken down after that. What I'm really curious to see is if he can continue with this patience that he is showing, not forcing the ball anywhere. If he can do that, I think he's going to have a very good game today.
Kahari, as a former quarterback, do you like the idea that the Stampeders have scrapped the receiver rotation to have more continuity?
I think that's a fantastic idea. As a quarterback, you want to know who's out there with you. When I was out there in Winnipeg, I wanted to know Milt Stiegel was on my right or left, and that made me feel comfortable. If Copeland is your best guy, he was the best coming out of camp, then you have to have that guy in there.
Yeah, Tom Higgins was saying yesterday, you know, Bo Richter and Lewis and Copeland all run a different out route, right? And if they're constantly rotating in, it's hard for a quarterback to get on the same page. 1st and 10 from midfield. Stampeders with a staggered cadence from Burris, throwing across the middle, and it's incomplete. And it looked like Kevin Ivan breaking the play up as the gun sounds to end the opening quarter here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Burris solving the top pass defense in the league with a touchdown pass to Joffrey Reynolds. $10-0 Calgary after 1 quarter, turning the tables on the Argos, who led 10-0 after the 1st quarter last week at home.
Well, I mean, where do you want me to start? I mean, this 0 stands out, this 2 stands out. That's just not good offense, and I talked about this before. if your offense can't get a first down in a quarter of football, that means your defense is playing a lot on that football field. And eventually that offense going against them is going to get something to happen. As you say, Stampeders up 10 after the first quarter.
And it could have been a lot worse had that Copeland catch been ruled complete, a 46-yarder overturned on the challenge by the Argonauts. But Henry Burris at midfield with a 2nd and long, 2nd and 10 situation. Again, 4 receivers to the wide side. Back to pass, in the pocket, in trouble, and sacked. Michael Fletcher and Jonathan Brown bring down Burris, the first Argo sack of the evening.
A secondary coverage sack, and the secondary just smothered the Stampeder receivers downfield. He is trying to find something, and eventually that pocket's going to collapse. That's a great job of the linebackers getting depth and working together with the secondary to shut off any openings of potential receivers for Henry Burris.
Once again, Burkdale standing deep. Look at this, Chris. He's 15 yards deep here to receive this long snap from Randy Chevrier, and he shanks it. Looking to the sideline. It bounces and goes out of bounds this side of the 30. To the sidelines, and here's Doug Dirks with Michael Bishop.
Well, Michael, initially the assessment was 6 to 8 weeks on the broken wrist. More accurately, what do you think?
I think right now, 3, 4 right now, I'm a fast healer. Right now, my wrist feeling fine right now, no pain. I'm able to move it around like I was before. So, hopefully, with the good Lord on my side, 3, 4 weeks at the most, I'll be back.
No first downs in the first quarter for Mike McMahon. Your assessment of the way he's played so far?
I think he just needs to settle down, take his time and read the play out. Right now, he's trying to make plays and trying to get us a lead right now. He's got to settle down and just play his game. I think once he gets settled down, we'll be okay.
Michael, thanks for this. Mark?
Yeah, Michael Bishop saying he's a fast healer. He was saying from the hospital bed, he was telling the Argo PR people that he'd be back sooner than later.
He also said, tell him I'm in Hawaii, because he got tired of everybody trying to phone him on his cell phone, find out his condition.
I want to point out, too, on that ball that bounced out of bounds, no penalty because it did bounce. It didn't go out through the air. The new rule this year that any punts going out in the air between the 20s, it is a penalty now in the CFL. 2nd and 5 for Mike McMahon, struggling here in the early going of his first CFL start at the helm of the good ship Argos. Here comes the blitz. McMahon standing tall, throwing into coverage. Frank Murphy, the intended receiver, and it's broken up on the play by the outside linebacker, Shannon James.
Mark, we talked about the fact that McMahon has not thrown a football as a starter since 2005. It's going to take a while for him to get his feet wet. Right now, he's forcing his reads. He's locking onto receivers and almost causing another turnover right now as he tries to dump the pass. And this is something you're going to wonder now, how long before we might see number 9 enter this game.
Oh, you're already starting the Damon Allen watch.
I definitely am.
4 2-and-outs for the Argos under the direction of Mike McMahon. Well, Prefontaine in his 2nd game back since injuring his head, his back, and his leg. Got one blocked by Baron Miles in the season opener against BC. Marcus Howell at the 25 beats the first man downfield, puts his head down, crashing close to the 34. An 8-yard return in all kinds of traffic for Marcus Howell as Burris readies the Calgary offense. Randy Ruchinski, the long snapper for the Argos, is injured. After that last play, we want to remind you it's Warrior of the Game. Log on to cbcsports.ca in the second half to vote for the player who you think showed the heart and determination of a Warrior, and we'll let you know who wins in the post-game show. Warrior of the Game is brought to you by the all-new 2007 GMC Sierra, professional grade. Joffrey Reynolds off to a roaring start with the game's only touchdown, and he's been nasty on the ground in that first quarter.
He's running hard north-south, and I know you like to give it to the pretty boys all the time, the quarterbacks and the running backs, but them big boys up front have been taking a lot of heat. Talked about the fact that Garrick Jones, the left tackle, and Comiskey didn't finish the last game against Toronto, and then we saw Jay McNeil earlier leave the football game, so they're a banged up bunch.
McNeil, of course, has come back as we look at the time of possession being dominated 3-1 by the Stampeders, and obviously with the Argo offense, 4 2-and-out series so far in this football game.
And especially after we saw how well they were running with Michael Bishop at the controls.
First down for Henry Burris and the Stampeders at their own 34, and there is Joffrey Reynolds jiving and juking his way now, lowering the boom, and a hard blue-collar work ethic there for a first down, Calgary.
Well, there's been a lot of talk around town that they haven't been able to utilize Reynolds, but when you take a look at the last 2 games, the scores were so lopsided, you can't run the ball anymore, so you're forced to throw it every down. As a result, you basically force Joffrey Reynolds to become another offensive lineman. He just becomes a blocker.
Well, it'll be interesting, this battle with Reynolds against Adriano Belli, who was brought in expressly to shore up the Argo run defense. And they are number 2 against the run so far in the early going of this season. Burris back to pass out of the backfield is complete to Reynolds. Now he's got some steam, and another first down as Mike O'Shea brings him down across the 50 of the Argos. They move the sticks again. Another first down.
Great play calling by the Stampeder offense. They hit Reynolds up to get the first play for a first down. This time the linebackers of the Argos are going to drop deep. As a result, he just dumps it off to Reynolds, and he runs for a first down. Take advantage of what the defense has given you.
A 16-yard gain. George Cortez trying to work underneath this Argo defense that plays deep, that cover 4 zone, and prevents you from going over the top. 4 receivers wide. Play action this time. In the seam, it's complete, and Jermaine Copeland has the catch near the first down marker at the 38 of the Argos.
Jermaine Copeland, number 80, with the catch.
Well, that was on a shoestring. That ball was thrown by Henry Burris with some authority because the coverage is right there. Watch him break down. That's Willie Powell. He's right there. That ball's delivered exactly when it has to be, and all he can do is wrap up the receiver after he makes the catch.
Burris matching minds with the wily Rich Stubler, who took over this Argo defense in 2003. And since then, they have really set the standard, allowing less than 2 touchdowns a game.
Well, remember this as well, Mark. The fact is that Henry Burris is 1-5 against a defense that's coached by Rich Stubler.
Yes, he's only thrown 4 touchdowns against the Stubler defense in 6 games, 8 interceptions. Burris rolling the pocket right, throwing with authority. It's incomplete, and Brett Ralph probably should have had it.
Brett Ralph probably shouldn't have left his feet. Not sure why he dove forward, because if you're diving forward, it makes sense to me that you could run forward just as fast. Stay on your feet, you have a chance to maybe make the catch and take off with it after. You can see he tries to come back in and he goes low to try and secure the ball. Just kind of move into the football, I think, and he would have had a better opportunity to catch that ball.
Well, drop balls have been a problem for this Calgary offense. The coaches made a point of that in practice this week. 12 drops are the ones that they've accounted for that weren't the result of defensive backs jarring it out of the receiver hands in Calgary. 2nd and 10 from the 38 of the Argos. Burris with a staggered cadence got some movement. Looked like Belly jumped on that Argo defensive line.
Don't forget to tune in.
Well, you know what? A sign that a defensive lineman is getting frustrated is when he starts to jump the gun because he wants to get some penetration and make something happen. And I believe you're right, Mark. I think Adriana Belli tried to jump the snap count. Was probably leaving a little too early.
Was he drawn?
There's no infraction on the play. Remains 2nd down.
Now that's an interesting call. From up here, it did look like he left before the snap of the ball, but hey, you want to put the flag back in? I guess they got a quota. Put it back.
The Stamps were complaining after they put the flag away, and so it's 2nd down, 10 to go.
There he is right there. And I mean, he's moving.
That's pretty blatant. Belly gets a mulligan. 2nd and 10. Calgary again trying to spread the Argo defense. More movement on the Argo side of the line of scrimmage. Burris scrambling. Now he throws. He's got a completion at the 20. Ryan Thelwell, the Canadian obtained in the trade in the offseason with BC, or rather as a free agent from the BC Lions, has his first catch of the football game. Flags down, though, with movement along the line of scrimmage.
Well, again, Burris doing a nice job of staggering the snap count, and I think he caught the Argos again offside.
Offside. Toronto 98. Penalties declined. First down.
And that's Riel Johnson, the defensive end, who again, 2nd time he's being called on that infraction.
Kahari.
Such a small thing, Chris, to just go from going on one to going on two, but those are those little things that separate the very good quarterbacks in a very good game from a not so great game.
Burris mixing up his cadence, keeping the Argo defense off guard, and there's a botched snap in the shotgun and whistled immediately with flags on the play.
Well, this has become a penalty-filled series right now. It's 3 times in a row we've had the flags dropped. This time it's going to go against the Stampeders.
Calgary, number 50, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Jay McNeil, the penalized Stampeder, and again penalties coming up here to hurt this football team. Leads the CFL in penalties and yardage.
Visit ShakersCalgary.com.
First down repeated, 15 yards to go. And look at the way the Stamps are spreading the Argo secondary. Burris in the shotgun, 4-man rush, calls a quarterback draw, gets a block, and then is hammered as he gets close to the 20-yard line, just across the original line of scrimmage. It'll be a gain of 7 on the play. Second and 8.
You gotta love this. It's a predetermined call. As you say, they spread the defense out. 4 receivers to the wide side. It's going to create a little seam in the defense, and he tries to exploit it and picks up good yardage. And I mean, he still puts him in a second and short situation, but not a second and very long out.
Burris is way more effective when he uses his legs as a running quarterback. Second and 9 from the Argo 21. Argo's blitzing. They bring the house. Burris has time, but the ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage and falls to the turf, incomplete. So the Stampeder drive will stall at the 21.
I think it's Michael Fletcher who once again has become a thorn in the Stampeder side. Just going to put that hand up. He is right there, and he does a nice job of getting the paw on the ball, knocking it down.
So the Argo defense bending and then stiffening deep in their own end. And Sandro DeAngelis will attempt his first field goal of the night. 3 for 4 so far this season. His longest from the 48. This one from the 28. Left hash marks. Brett Ralph to hold. And the kick is good. DeAngelis good from 28. And the Stamps go up by 13. Mike McMahon 0 for 5 passing. Argo still without a first down. Midway through the second quarter, and the backup, the legendary Damon Allen, waiting in the wings.
I mean, they've run 8 offensive plays, Mark, in a little over 22 minutes. I mean, that's just not going to win you many games.
The Stampeders scored 14 unanswered points to end last week's slaughter loss. 13 unanswered to start here, so they're 27-0 to the good. With a 13-0 lead. Bashar Levingston looking for some blocks. And he has not been a threat tonight. A 59-yard kickoff and just an 11-yard return as the NFL veteran Mike McMahon gets set to go to work against one of the toughest safeties in the CFL, Trey Young, anchoring the Denny Crehan-led Calgary defense. And remember, Denny Crehan was the defensive coordinator at Rutgers back when Mike McMahon was the quarterback in U.S. college football. And you have to know that Crehan knows what gets under McMahon's skin. A little pressure.
That might be incompletions.
First down. Here comes the pressure. They'll go on the ground on first down, and Jamel White negotiates a good carry across the 35-yard line. 9 yards. 2nd and 1, Toronto. And it was Jamel White who suffered a concussion last week in the game in Toronto.
What a hit he took.
Yeah, I mean, it was questionable whether he'd be in the lineup here today.
Well, you can see right Jamal White running, and Trey Young trying to line him up. Does a nice job of taking the wheels out from under that locomotive. But you know what? At least something positive.
Trey Young crushed 2 Argos last week, and that move by White at the last minute may have helped him there as an arm tackle by Young brought him down. 2nd and a little over 1. Handoff to Jamel White, and he will crash for a first down.
Well, there's their first down of the ball game, and it's on the ground. Now, I know that sometimes people want to say you can't live off the ground, but you know what? If it opens up the passing game, maybe it'll pull those linebackers in a little tighter to the line of scrimmage. That may allow them to go there.
Here's the hit last week. Jamel White going up the middle, and then Trey Young drops him. What a ferocious hit, and a concussion suffered. Just on the sheer whiplash, it looked like. McMahon in the pocket, hit hard from behind, but gets the ball away, and it's complete to Andre Talbot. And McMahon standing in there and taking a huge shot from the nose tackle, Karan Williams.
But getting the ball downfield, picking up some good first down yards. They picked up 5 to 6 yards. Sitting, as you say, in the pocket. Know he's going to get hit, but that's what's going to happen until he gets his feet wet again.
There's some progress, though. First down followed by McMahon's first pass completion of this first half, and it comes with 5.5 minutes to go until halftime. 6 receiver set. McMahon facing a 5-man rush, gets the ball away, and it's in behind his receiver. A flag on the play. And it looked like the rookie, Brandon Stewart, in coverage there for Calgary.
They'll mark the 21-year-old. He's got 2 years of college eligibility left, Brandon Stewart. First game at that halfback, replacing Calvin Bannister, who was injured. Another first-year player.
Pass interference. Calgary 25, 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So the youngster, Brandon Stewart, with his first CFL penalty.
Well, he's just up top, and you can see him right there. He just kind of pushes him down, and he's all over his back. You can't have that contact like that, downfield like that.
Trying to intimidate the rookie Canadian, Obed Satut. First down, Argos at midfield. Their second first down. Hand off to Frank Murphy, the slot back, coming out of the backfield. And a new look there for the Argo offense. And the gain will be 5.
Well, an interesting concept of putting Frank Murphy in the backfield, because what it does is basically locks a linebacker on him. If later in the game, Mark, they decide to release him for a passing situation, that might be a mismatch we look for later.
Frank Murphy, NFL experience out of Kansas State, former teammate of Michael Bishop's. Second and 5. Drafted in the 6th round. close to another first down as the Argo offense under McMahon.
Wow, it's like they just flipped the switch all of a sudden, and as you say, they came to life. Caution again, 45. Going to see and try and get out of the way, and the only equipment takes the brunt of that hit.
You know, those are the now a reverse outside. If he gets the call. Just right there to seal the corner. Just across the line of scrimmage to limit the game to just 2. Play of this Argo drive straight ahead with 3 minutes to go until halftime. Second and 8. Argos at the 23 of Calgary, and we'll see what happens here. But this might be the drive. And needs to stay in the game. Shotgun. Here comes the Calgary. McMahon throwing deep down field from Mitchell. Incomplete. of his reach. The veteran came into the game needing 28 to pass. Almost
Well, it was interesting because I was wondering when 87 would make his presence felt. He loves to run. Was a little post corner. That's his favorite run. Behind the coverage. Ball just a little too far for him to secure. But you wonder when he was going to go number 87. So the best looking offensive drive of the game for Toronto. Will stall at the 23. Setting up this field goal attempt by Noel. Prefontaine
30. The left hash marks. Hold. Contains. Strikes it. And it's good. So the Argonauts are on the scoreboard. With 2:36 to go. On a 30-yard. Noel field goal. Welcome back to McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the CFL on CBC. And a 13-3 Calgary lead over the Argos. A reminder, coming up at halftime, the panel, Elliott, Millie, Ferzi, and Kahari, ready to digest this first half. And back in the day, we go back to 1948. Profile Les Lear, the coach of the very first Calgary Stampeder Grey Cup champions. First down at the 35 for Burris and the Stamps. They'll go on the ground, and Joffrey Reynolds running with authority through traffic there. He'll have a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Joffrey Reynolds, who came into the game ranked 3rd in the CFL in rushing, has been a force so far here tonight, Chris.
Well, he definitely got to utilize it. We talked about it early in the game that Joffrey Reynolds has to make his presence felt. Look at it, he just runs over people. And it is true that if you get a successful running game, whether it's just dumping the pass off to him, which is just like a short run, your offense is going to click.
Burris, a quick look into Kenyon Rambo. Byron Parker can't bring him down, and now he's surrounded. Flags on the play on that 2nd and 4 situation, and the Argos are pointing at Calgary. Kenyon Rambo getting the start at wide receiver as Calgary goes to 4 permanent receivers and 1 fifth 5R man in Ryan Thelwell.
And I think that's, you know, Kahari commented on that earlier, the consistency factor of knowing the quarterback, knowing exactly where your receivers are going to be. It just makes your offense that much more predictable from a quarterback standpoint of knowing where he's going to throw the ball, that someone's going to actually be there.
You think that they can't make that rotation work? I mean, there's so much firepower. Nick Lewis sitting tonight, 3 years. He's been over 1,000 yards for Calgary, but not getting the start as Belly mixes it up with the Hoggies.
Offside. Toronto, 97. Penalty is declined. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Toronto, 78. It's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
Well, he was getting into it with Comiskey, the center, who he felt had clipped him from behind on the back of the legs. Took exception to that block.
That's the 2nd time Belly has been caught kicking, and he's not a punter.
Or a soccer player.
Although he might fit in well with the Chileans.
Quite true.
First down after the 15-yard penalty. Burris, a quick look into Brett Ralph, and he's manhandled. Willie Pyle and Khalil Carter throw him unceremoniously to the turf, and the gain will be about 1.
Well, you hope that Henry Burris is not feeling too confident, because he's starting to do these sideline passes now, staying a little bit more to shallow routes instead of going after him vertically again.
Burris trying to attack the linebacking core in his Argo match coverage. And now you see it, now you don't type defense that has fooled the best of veteran quarterbacks. 2nd and 9. Burris straight back, throwing a bullet. It's incomplete. Willie Pyle in coverage. And Mark Boerichter was the intended receiver. Punt situation for the Stamps.
And a nice job, as you mentioned, the match coverage. And I should probably explain that. Basically, if the offense has 3 receivers to one side of the field, they'll try and put 4 defenders there. Give a little bit more coverage, and they have it works, especially if they're going to try and switch off routes offensively. They always have somebody positioned to cover the receivers.
They sit back in a lot of zone. They sit back and read the other team's routes, and they wait for you to blink first. They wait for you to commit as an offense before they jump you. And quite often quarterbacks don't have that kind of time.
Cars live.
Burke Dales to punt. A high spiral towards the sideline. He won't get it out of bounds. At the 10, the return is brought straight up the sideline, and not much going there. 9 yards.
Once a season, and only once a season, Moores has a sale. Right now, over half our suits and sport coats are on sale at great low prices. You'll find a huge selection of dress shirts and hundreds of casual and dress pants. Plus, big savings on sportswear and shoes. Which means the only way to beat a Moores price is at the Moores Summer Sale. Moores, well made, well priced, well dressed.
Mike McMahon back at the controls of the Argo offense after their first scoring drive, a 30-yard field goal by Prefontaine. He's got a connection there. Michael Palmer, the Canadian receiver, makes the catch, and they'll have a gain on the play of about 9.
Interesting that the Stampeders are going to sit back in his zone coverage right now, only rush 4, and that's going to allow McMahon the time he needs to find Palmer in the hole. I don't like this. I think you need to come after him and try and get him out of it. He's picked up. Remember, the last drive, Mark, was 5 minutes and 14 seconds, which is more than they had combined the whole game.
And the Argo offense will be relying on their Canadians. They have 4 Canadian receivers in the lineup, just 2 imports with the injuries to Arlen Bruce and Tony Miles. Hand off to White, nowhere there. And he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage on that 2nd and short situation. As we see where they spot the ball, they needed just under a yard for the first down.
And remember, the last time they had 3rd and less than a yard, Coach Clemens decided to punt the football. The offense seems to have a little bit more momentum right now. Will his decision process be affected by that? And will he gamble this time?
It is a full yard, so they will not measure. 3rd down and a full yard to go, and the Argos are going to go for it. 3rd down with 1:08 to go, and they stuff it up the gut. And there was some conjecture on the field as to whether the whistle had actually been blown to whistle play in.
Well, what he does is he comes up and they try and go on first down as Mike McMahon just walks up. As soon as he gets behind the center, it's an automatic snap, and he's going to go. He's going to try and catch the defense off guard.
It is a first down. McMahon saying yesterday it's been a bit of an adjustment to go from the 45 seconds they have in the NFL to put the ball into play to the 20 here in the CFL. A lot of information to absorb and process. And it looks like some confusion here. A timeout called on the Argo sideline. And 3rd down and 1 to go, deep in their own zone.
I thought it was 3rd down and 1 last time.
So they did not blow the play in, so that's what happened. There was some debate on the field that McMahon got the sneak off before the referees had whistled play in. Let's listen to it. Yeah, you can hear it right there. The The umpire had barely gotten off the line of scrimmage.
Well, I got to tell you what, the umpire, what's he doing? He's looking at the play anyway. Blow the whistle. You can see the quarterback walking up. Basically, you're negating that opportunity for the Argo offense.
So they'll gamble. No, they won't. They brought Prefontaine out to punt after they lose that 3rd and 1 conversion to the whistle. Prefontaine with a beauty, a spiral deep inside the 30. It's Kenyon Rambo on the return, bumping and grinding. Now he's finally taken down heavily. A 54-yard punt by Prefontaine and just a 5-yard return. You don't like that call.
No, I don't like that call because of the fact that he's not out of position. He's watching him as he walks up to the line of scrimmage. Blow the whistle. For him to sit there, it's almost like he's watching the game. Negated that first down effort by the Argo offense and then forced him now to punt the ball. It's all change momentum. Little things can affect the outcome of a game.
The Burris numbers are not huge, but he has been effective. And with 36 seconds, he's got some time to move the football into field goal position. On first down, Burris flushed from the pocket. Brown with pressure, and wisely, the quarterback throws it away.
A great pressure by Jonathan Brown as he basically just runs over Garrick Jones, the left tackle. You see him, just catches him on his heels, pushes him right into the quarterback, and that forces Burris to kind of sidestep the pressure, and he just wisely throws it out of bounds.
The Argos appear to get pressure at will on Burris. And there's an injured Stampeder. Garrick Jones, the left tackle, is down.
Well, Mark, I talked about he did not finish the game last week against the Argonauts. He was high on that pass protection. He got caught sitting high, and as he went down hard on that bull rush move by Jonathan Brown.
Jones, the 3-year veteran out of Arkansas State in his first season with the Stampeders, coming from Winnipeg, and he was graded as the best offensive lineman of the bunch on that road trip. And the replacement is the 3-year veteran out of Acadia, Godfrey Ellis, going in, and Garrick Jones in some difficulty, but making his way to the Calgary bench. 2nd and 10, 29 seconds to the half. Ball on the 33 of the Stampeders. Burris rolling a bit, firing to the sideline, jump ball, and Brett Ralph has it go way over his head, incomplete.
Have you felt this as I felt this, Mark? It seems like the Argonaut offense is picking up some steam, and it seems like Henry, after that great start, has started to fizzle out, and he's cooling down. He's going with these sideline passes again. We talked about this earlier. Not attacking the heart of the Argo defense. You've got to be aggressive and challenge them. They've had success, but it seems like now they're going to play into the Argo defense's hand, which is playing underneath them.
The incompletion will stop the clock with 25 seconds to go. And Burris, who looked sharp to start this football game, has suddenly gone cold, good on just 3 of his last 9 attempts. Birkdale standing inside his own 20. A nice deep punt to the near sideline. Livingston back inside his own 20, gets outside the cover, up the sidelines now, cutting inside, and Brian Clark hog ties him and brings him to the turf. A 57-yard punt by Dales and just a 16-yard return with 12 seconds on the clock. Is there time for the Argos maybe to get into field goal range?
Well, 12 seconds gives you a couple plays. Evidently, you still got your timeout. Stop the clock, try a long field goal.
Mike McMahon was saying how much fun he's having in the Canadian Football League. He said with those 12-hour days in the NFL, there isn't a lot of time for camaraderie.
And actually, they have used their timeout, so that will not be a good ploy for them.
6 receiver set, 4-man rush by Calgary, and they get pressure, and they get McMahon. Karan Williams, the sophomore out of Massachusetts, has his 2nd sack of the young season.
Well, a 4-man rush. You've got 5 guys blocking him. Your offensive line has got to do a better job. He's just in the middle right there. Just going to keep working. He's running a little stunt. It's called an ET. The end's going to come inside. The tackle, the nose tackle in this case, is going to loop to the outside. They do a great job of washing the offensive line inside. He's got a free rush to the quarterback.
Four-man rush, though, Chris. They got to be able to protect.
That's why they're playing the games, though, Mark. If you're going to rush forward, play the games. Get those offensive linemen on different levels.
This will be the last play of the first half as McMahon takes a knee and the gun sounds. The Stampeders jump out to an early 13-0 lead, and the Argos get one back on the Prefontaine field goal. It's 13-3 Calgary, leading Pinball Clemens and the Toronto Argonauts as the teams head to the dressing rooms for halftime. To the sidelines now, and here's Doug Dirks with Tom Higgins.
Tom, how would you assess the performance of your team in the first half?
Well, it's actually nice to be interviewed before going in at halftime instead of coming out. So obviously, we're doing a lot of things right. Now, it's tough to score touchdowns on that Toronto defense, and their MO is to keep it close. And so our defense is doing well. We're playing well on all three phases.
Mike McMahon got absolutely nothing in the first quarter, but he seems to be establishing a bit of a rhythm now. How do you contain him?
Well, you know what? It was only a matter of time. You're not going to shut somebody down completely. He's a good quarterback, and they got a good coaching staff, and they'll put a couple of wrinkles in so they can move the football. What was nice is we held them to a field goal in the end on that drive.
Tom, thanks for this. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Mark?
Tom Higgins with reason to smile. His team has the lead going into the half. One touchdown to show for it. Joffrey Reynolds on a 3-yard catch.
For the Stampeders, down 27 at the half last week in Toronto. They're up 10 against the Argonauts here back at home. Okay, the Jermaine Copeland catch, he was furious about it. CFL rules have what's called a bang-bang play, when a receiver is attempting to catch a pass and falls or is driven to the ground quickly, like here. Under CFL rules, it's incomplete if the receiver cannot retain control once contacting the ground. So on that call, despite the fact Jermaine Copeland is upset, it's a right call. But Kahari, the rule?
Definitely right call, bad rule. I just think it's terrible. I think after a guy catches it, after he hits the ground and he has possession of it, that's all that should happen. He shouldn't have to stand up with the ball and bring it back to the huddle like the rule says now. I mean, it's ridiculous. And what I think it does cause is it causes defensive backs to play after the play is over. The play should have been over, but defensive backs are now going to start biting and scratching and making sure, trying to get that ball out of there. And I just think it's a bad rule.
But what I want to say is that I like the clarity of it. You know, you may not like the rule, but the clarity is there. And so if it is happening quick and you don't survive contact with the ground, it's incomplete. Bud Steen, the head official, probably mistaken. George Black, head of officiating, probably is going to critique him about that. He should have aggressively called it incomplete because of what he saw.
I disagree with that. You know what? That's where I disagree with. I think the referee should make the call as they see it on the field. And if instant replay sorts it out, Greg, I think that's what instant replay is for.
I mean, it definitely, but I think that the controversy happens because he says completion. On that bang-bang play, they are instructed to call aggressively incomplete.
George, I just want you to know that while Kahari and I are good with the referees, last year was Millington killing them. This year it's Greg. Okay, we were sitting here in the second quarter saying, when are we going to see Damon Allen? Sean?
And I think we may see Damon Allen sooner than as opposed to later. Right now, McMahon has done a little bit to get things going in the second quarter, but he's right now 3 of 9 attempts for 29 yards, and that's just not good enough. I happen to believe that right now he's not ready for prime time. He needs to go back in the oven, be baked a little bit more, and let's bring him back out again, maybe in a couple more games.
You know what? He definitely had the jitters. I will give you that. But I saw something in the drive where they got the field goal.
And these plays are from that. Yeah.
What I saw was Toronto kind of understood what they were trying to do, what Calgary's defense was trying to do, which is show him a lot of looks and blitz on first down. So as a result, what they did was they ran the ball more on first down and took the pressure off of them and then threw short passes. If they can continue to do that, it might help them out a little bit, but I still see a lot of rust there.
Well, and Kahari, it's really tough to evaluate Mike McMahon when you're missing your 2 top offensive weapons in Arlan Bruce and Tony Miles. So you know what? They are thin in regards to their offensive weapons. Mike McMahon's throwing off his back foot a lot, but you know what? It's tough to evaluate him on this performance.
Greg, last word to you quick. We were all over the Calgary defense before the game. They've held Toronto to 3. Do they deserve any credit?
Well, I think that the secondary needs to be able to get physical with the receivers. They're not getting their hands on them. And if you're going to play man-to-man coverage in the CFL, you have to disrupt the timing. They're not doing that.
Just say no.
The answer is no from Greg Frères. Okay, back in the day, still to come. Also, Pinball Clemens with Doug Dirks as his team is down 10 at the break.
The Argos down by 10 at the half. They were leading by 27 at the half 1 week ago. What does their head coach think? He's standing by right now with Doug.
Michael, your offense struggled in the first quarter, 0 first downs. How would you assess the performance of Mike McMahon in that first half?
Rather than assessing, we want to encourage him, get him going, get him seeing the right things. First game, we didn't feel that he was necessarily seeing all the things that we wanted him to see, but it's the first game. We want to be patient, try to have him come out in the second half after making some adjustments and be composed and move the ball.
Now, your defense is spending a lot of time on the field. How are they holding up?
Well, they're tired, but this is football. This is what it's all about. So they want to go for 60 minutes. They love to play. So the more they're on the field, the more they get a chance to play. So they're going to try to get off the field a little bit more, see if we can get some 2-and-outs, get some continuity, get some things moving offensively.
Any chance we'll see Damon Allen in the second half?
There is.
Thanks very much.
The Pinball Clemens showing some patience with Mike McMahon. He'll start this second half. He has only first downs to show for the first half. How patient do you think Pinball will be?
Well, I think it's really important that Mike McMahon comes out in the second half and gets something offensively done. And that means put some points on the board. He's had one drive that's resulted in a field goal, and other than that, it's been nothing. So he's got to come out. I think there'll be a fast hook on him if he's unproductive early.
Stampeders were trailing by 27 at the half last week. They've got the lead going into the second half in this football game. They got Joffrey Reynolds going, and that has really helped Burris.
And the biggest thing, they had 6 turnovers at halftime last week, 0 right now.
All right, let's look at those first half statistics, my friend.
Well, passing yards and 52 net yards. Remember, they had nothing in the first quarter, but I mean, Henry Burris started off very, very hot, Mark. The first quarter was all Stampeders. I thought he kind of cooled off a little in the second quarter.
3 for 9 in the second.
Really going to be interested to see if he starts to go after and attack the Argos secondary again, much like he did in the first quarter.
Well, as you mentioned, the Stampeders have chopped their turnovers to 0 so far in this football game. But the Toronto defense stiffened in that second quarter. Pinball Clemens announcing that Mike McMahon will get the start here in the second half with Damon Allen waiting on the sidelines. And you have to wonder what kind of adjustments the Argos made in their 15 minutes at halftime as Barato helped tutor McMahon. The kickoff and the return. It's Livingston outside and hit hard. Oh, the youngster Matt Grudegood, the rookie out of USC, making his presence felt with a huge hit. This was the young man who was a finalist for the Butkus Award as the nation's top college linebacker in 2004.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. We've talked about this. How do you get an opportunity to stay on the roster? You got to make things happen on special teams. And Grudegood did exactly that.
Let's take a look at the first half passing chart for Mike McMahon. It won't be pretty.
Well, it won't be pretty. And I mean, take a look. I mean, it's all here. It's all shallow, and that's exactly what the defense is going to give you. He's taking the easy completions. He's got to be a little bit more patient and throw it downfield.
Here he goes. First series, second half is play action. Pressure. McMahon gets it away, and it's a bad one. Over the top and incomplete, intended for number 11, the Canadian rookie John Williams, who's now in the game.
And he seems to be stuck in the pile. I mean, I would expect Mike McMahon to get a little depth in his drop as a quarterback position. It just seems like he's stuck right in the middle of the offense and defensive line. He's just trying to throw, as you say, off the back foot to try and, you know, it's like one of those, we throw it up in the air and hope somebody catches it.
With all the injuries, Frazee mentioning again, Arlen Bruce and Tony Miles out, Michael Bishop out. The Argos have 3 more Canadians than they're required in the lineup here tonight. Second down and 10, 6 receiver set. McMahon across the middle. It's complete to Satut, the Canadian rookie, and he'll have a first down. Satut really impressed the Argos in the preseason, and he built some chemistry with McMahon in the 2 exhibition games.
Well, 2 exhibition games, and before this game, we saw McMahon and Satut running patterns before the game even started in warm-ups. And we said, oh, these 2 guys are trying to get something together, and that's exactly what you have to do against this defense. Little crossing pattern, give him the ball. Guy's got some good speed.
Yes, he's got good speed. The rookie out of Central Michigan had 2 catches last week for 12 yards. And a first down here to start the second half. Movement along the line of scrimmage. Flags are down as the Argos go up the gut. And Scott Coe looked like the Stampeder who moved early.
Well, I think they drew the entire left side of that defense of the Stampeders, and it's definitely the call. Scott Coe, Cornelius Anthony, number 8.
Offside. Calgary, number 56, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
It is Coe, and Scott Coe and Brian Clark are both starting, 2 veterans trying to bring some experience to that defense, which is full of youth.
Come on, you can't. I mean, Scott Coe is a great football player, but how do you take your leader, Brian Clark, and make him a situational player? Led the league in forced fumbles last year. He's always around the football. He's got to be on the field when the defense is on.
McMahon rolling to the wide side, a sidearm, and it's complete to a wide open Michael Palmer. And Palmer loses the football, stripped by Krantz Clemens. It goes out of bounds, but the Argos are ruled holding onto it.
Trey Young trying to cause a turnover. But a nice job of not sitting in the pocket. It's funny when you talk to McMahon, he says everybody thinks I'm a pocket passer.
Wow, Palmer just got his fingertips on it before it went out of bounds.
But McMahon is talking about everybody kind of labeling him as a drop back, sit in the pocket. It's nice to see him run around. If you see this, it's out of bounds though. Good call.
Krantz Clemens getting it free, but it's a first down, a gain of 14 by Palmer. Another one of those Canadian receivers being counted on here tonight, and nowhere to go up the gut for Jamel White, the former Cleveland Brown, as Karan Williams, the nose tackle for Calgary, makes the tackle.
Well, trying to run a little misdirection. They got Frank Murphy going to come underneath and try and draw some of the defenders and hopefully be able to hit it backside or against the grain with a quick hitter with Jamal White, but the defense stays at home and takes him down.
Danny Crean's defense ranked last in the CFL after week 3, allowing 8 passing touchdowns. Just 1 for the Argos coming into this game, but they haven't given up one here yet tonight. McMahon in the pocket, a laser beam in behind Andre Talbot, who was open on a crossing route. And so it'll go incomplete, and the Argos will have to punt.
And if you want to take away the pressure, do exactly what the Argonauts did. They go 6 receivers. That forces the Stampeders to put cover guys out there. They can only rush 4, and as a result, you've got a little bit more time if your line gives you protection. He just throws that behind the intended receiver, Andre Talbot, as you see him over there, waiting to get a word with him.
McMahon and Talbot converse on the Argo sideline, and you think about it, McMahon's had just 1 week of practice as the starter, as Noel Prefontaine will attempt this field goal from the 55-yard line, hammering it wide, deep enough, 8 yards deep to Marcus Howell, who'll take it out of the end zone. Howell gets a block, gets outside. Now he's got some room down the sideline and brought down from behind. A big tackle by John Williams, and a big return. Good field position for the Stamps when we come back. Welcome back to McMahon Stadium on a glorious summer evening here in Calgary. The CFL on CBC brought to you in high definition. Stampeders with a 10-point lead, and the Argos with Mike McMahon still at quarterback, trying to get something going here, yet to score a touchdown. They have but a 30-yard Noel Prefontaine field goal. Double tight end formation on first down. Quick release out of the backfield, and a huge hit on John Williams. John Williams pays a price as Brandon Browner, the 6'4", 220-pound defensive back, lowers the boom.
Well, that's hanging your receiver out to dry. That's all that is. Just a quick hit, and Harry's going to get the ball right there. And look at 27 is licking his chops. Brandon Browner just lays him out. That's her defensive back's dream.
Browner, the rookie who took CFL All-Star Kobe Reinhardt's job in the preseason. 2nd and 7. McMahon with time now. He's in trouble, and he's sacked. Anthony Gargiulo with his 3rd sack of the season.
Well, Gargiulo, who is responsible for the injury to Mike Bishop's hand, gets a good pressure there and just keeps working, and again, it's another stunt. He's on the outside as an end, and he loops back inside where the nose tackle is, and great pressure, and brings down Mike McMahon for the sack.
So a loss of 8 on the play. 3rd down, 14 to go, as Prefontaine stands at his 15.
Card is active.
Prefontaine A deep punt. Pushing Howell back to his 18. Marcus Howell gets a nice block. Hurdles, still on his feet, and now Jermaine Mays brings him down as he crosses the 37-yard line. A 52-yard punt, just a 17-yard return as Burris goes back to the controls against this Argo defense, anchored along that D line by the nose tackle Adriano Belli, who had an unnecessary roughness penalty earlier for kicking. Let's find out what happened.
Mic'd Up, brought to you by Rogers, Canada's most reliable wireless network.
We'll go back to that and get the rest of it as Burris goes on offense. A flag down, handoff to Joffrey Reynolds. Look at that extra effort as he busts through a host of Argo tacklers, and he'll have a gain of 8 on the play, but a flag down. Let's go back down to Belly in that skirmish that led to the penalty.
Hey, no kick. Don't go for the needle, eh?
The offensive lineman for Calgary went for his knee, and so he kicked him.
Well, the man who likes to kiss a lot of people and show a lot of love out there, not real happy with the treatment he received there.
He had that donkey-like kick in Hamilton, too. Remember that? Got a penalty for that.
Offside. Toronto 35. Penalties declined. Second down.
Well, Kevin Ivan jumping the gun. Short side of the field.
Ivan, the Canadian Player of the Week. Last week with 4 tackles, an interception, and 2 fumble recoveries in the blowout win over Calgary. Second and 2 for Burris and the Stampeder offense. Now up behind his center, John Comiskey. I formation backfield. A pitch. Reynolds cuts in, and there's nowhere to go. As O'Shea, Ivan, and Fletcher, 3 of the veteran Argo linebackers, hit him behind the line of scrimmage.
Mike O'Shea. I mean, he's like a wine. I mean, he just keeps getting better with age. They say, how long has this guy? He's got an incredible training regime, as you well know, in the offseason. Gets himself in superb shape. I mean, that's just recognition. That's experience at that MAC position. Just does a great job of knowing I've got Joffrey Reynolds wherever he goes, even if he's a decoy, and he just flows to him and makes the tackles, forcing a punting situation.
O'Shea, third all-time in tackles, behind AJ and Willie Pless, a 15-year CFL veteran.
Only Canadian to get 1,000 tackles, Mark.
Good point, and a shank punt by Burke Dales off the side of his foot, bouncing and knocked out of bounds by Bashar Livingston. So the Argos with good field position when we come back. Back in Calgary in a dispute after that ball went out of bounds. The Argos claiming there should have been a no yards call.
And they just threw a flag right now late, and I believe it's going to be against the Argos, objecting a little too strongly. Well, they had a point. They're saying, the officials are saying the ball was out of bounds before the 5 yards was infracted upon. The Argos are saying that Stampeder cover team was within the 5 yards by the time Livingston got his hands on the ball. Now, we saw them over there arguing quite colorfully with the officials.
Yeah, it was a heated argument. Pinball got right in the thick of it.
And then we saw the flag being tossed as a result. Now they're conferring.
It almost looked like the ball nearly landed out of bounds in the air. Here's Bud Steen to sort it out.
Objectionable conduct. Toronto number 50, 10-yard penalty. 1st and 10, Toronto.
Kahari.
Guys, I'm right next to the action over here, and like you said, it looked like O'Shea and also Livingston were just in the action a little too long with the referees. Even if they get the call wrong, I don't think you can talk to them like they were talking to them.
You were right in the thick of it, Kahari.
Right next to it.
And so what that does is it gives the Argos bad field position again, just across the 21. So far in 9 offensive possessions, the Argos have been 2 and out 6 times. McMahon remains at quarterback. Handing off, and Tay George swallows Jamel White.
Well, you better block 77. 77, who was in Saskatchewan, got thrown out of the game, Mark, was in Higgins' bad books. got a chance to redeem himself today, and he's just right up the middle. I mean, he just swims the center. You know, if your backside guard's got to get him, the best thing you can do is try and take his legs out and allow your back an opportunity to cut back. You cannot let a big tackle like that run free in the backfield.
Speaking of kicking, Tay George was ejected from the Saskatchewan game for kicking in the first quarter, as you mentioned, and so they're good to have him back in the lineup for depth on that D-line. Another mix-up there as the ball is thrown in behind Daryl Mitchell on that 2nd and 12 situation. So the Argos with their 7th 2-and-out punt.
Well, 7th 2-and-out, and not anywhere close to where the receiver is. You see Mookie's going to work down, going to try and just sit down in the hole. And again, it's one of those situations where McMahon thinks he's going to the outside. Mookie cuts it to the inside. The ball falls incomplete. You talked about the fact we heard Coach Clemens talk at halftime that there's a very good chance we might see Damon Allen in the second half.
Steve Barato with 3 different starting quarterbacks in 4 games. And
He's holding
Fontaine
35.
gets it away. Hanging, good hang time to Howell at the 47. Beats the first man in the second tackle by O'Shea. Now he gets outside. Rachensky, the long snapper, can't get there. And Jeff Johnson will force him out of bounds. But a flag down.
A flag down, Mark. I think people don't realize how valuable Marcus Howell is. I mean, this is a guy that was a track star in Texas. He's got great wheels, got great speed, and he's strong with the balls. He bounces off the first would-be tackler and takes it around the corner.
Howell in his 8th season, former Bomber.
Holding. Calgary number 6, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That'll wipe out the return as Matt Grudegood is called for holding. You're watching the CFL on CBC.
Pride. It comes from having tough, proven performance you can count on to get the job done. Rugged dependability and spacious comfort that work and play as hard as you do. And capability you can trust to deliver when it counts. Pride is what we put into every Dodge Ram.
Hey, you missed a spot.
Dodge Ram, the longest lasting, most durable line of full-size pickups.
Thinking of getting one of those.
The truth? I just got this today.
Seriously?
Yeah, Rogers had me set up and running in minutes. It was easy.
Minutes?
Rogers Wireless Email, helping small business get more out of their time. Now get set up in minutes on the new BlackBerry Curve. Only from Rogers.
Who do I talk to about getting the Burt in HD?
I'm sorry?
Smoking the Bandit, the Burt.
Ah, gotcha. What do you know about 1080p?
Is that going to make the Burt look bigger?
Well, on a 65-inch HD TV, bigger and sharper.
Now, what's that sound like?
With the right subwoofer. How does that sound?
Pretty good.
We're gonna make this work for you.
This telecast is copyrighted by the CFL and licensed exclusively to CBC, and any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game is prohibited. 13-3, it's not pretty. The Stamps holding a 10-point lead. The Argos playing with one arm behind their back, missing 3 of their top offensive players, Michael Bishop, Arlen Bruce, and Tony Miles. And even so, the Calgary offense has 36 plays compared to 30 for Toronto. They've gone cold after the first quarter. Play action across the middle, complete to Copeland. Great catch, tackled by Chuck Winters at midfield, and a first down for Calgary.
Well, it's the only way you can attack this defense is you got to get somebody to run the opposite direction, almost like a crossing pattern, and put another receiver coming into that vacated area, and that's exactly what they do. Copeland just comes across the middle. Chuck Winters brings him down, but not before a big play.
Jermaine Copeland getting the start with Nick Lewis. A scratch, a healthy scratch in this football game tonight. Calgary looking for continuity from the receiving corps. Play action. Open is Bo Richter. He drops it. Mark Bo Richter can't hang on. It's incomplete. To the sideline, and the man who's watching in street clothes, Nick Lewis with Doug Dirks.
Well, Nick, what's it like for you to be healthy and watching this game today?
I wouldn't say I'm 100% healthy, but I'm good enough to play. But at the same time, you know, one player had to do it, and you know, I was fine with it. And I'll be in there next week, and I'll be ready to go again, and ready to go.
Now, with so many offensive weapons, and Joffrey Reynolds wants to run the ball as well, how do you keep everyone happy in this offense?
Don't go 2 and out. That's it. When you don't go 2 and out, everybody touches the ball. You go 2 and out, nobody touches it.
All right, Nick, thanks for this.
Thank you.
Mark?
Pretty simple, Doug. Here's Burris now, under pressure, and they've got him again. Jonathan Brown tag teaming with Mike Fletcher, and Brown with his 4th sack, 2nd of the game.
And one of the officials, I believe, Koshman again. No, again got leveled, and this time he's getting up a lot more groggily than last time.
It's the 2nd time he's been.
He was hammered. I hit.
And Brown lost a shoot as he heads to the sideline in another punt situation. 3rd and 14 after the loss of 4 on that sack, and the official getting some assistance from Pat Clayton, the Calgary trainer, and it's the umpire Jim Koshman who's taking a licking in this game.
That's the 2nd time. I mean, he's right there, and you're just going to see, one of the defenders who did not see him.
That was Jordan Younger coming across in coverage who clipped him.
And that's one of the things that happens, Mark. You mentioned it earlier that they're playing 10 yards deeper. And I know the quarterbacks don't like it as well, because when they're looking, they have to factor him in there because it's a new depth that they're playing at.
Well, I know Doug Berry in Winnipeg put a blocking dummy with a striped shirt 10 yards deep in practice, just so that Kevin Glenn could get used to an official being at that depth.
Yeah, but I think Doug Berry had his whole team hit that blocking dummy.
Third down.
So 3rd down as the offenses continue to struggle. And Burke Dales set to punt. Bashar Livingston has been harnessed all night on the return game. Last night we saw the first punt return touchdown of the season as Armstead took it back for Saskatchewan. Here's Livingston at his 6-yard line, and down he goes again. He's back on his feet and nowhere to go. Tay George down early on the tackle. Just an 8-yard return for Livingston. Mike McMahon, 6 of 15 through the air, still at quarterback. He's got a completion. No, he doesn't. A drop ball by Andre Talbot, but a flag in the backfield as McMahon was hit by Randy Chevrier after he threw the ball.
A late hit, and that'll increase the offense or move them up 15 yards.
Major foul, roughing the quarterback. Calgary 76, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, Chevrier, who alternates with K'Ron Williams in the middle, is going to say that he was pushed by Taylor Robertson into the quarterback. That was his defense, but he made no attempt to slow up and actually went quite low on the quarterback as well.
Mike McMahon has been branded cocky by some people. Calgary newspaper yesterday quoting him as saying back in his draft year in 2001, saying, "I think I'm the best quarterback in the NFL draft," the same draft that had Michael Vick and Drew Brees in it. There's another incompletion to Jamel White, but he's getting a baptism by fire here tonight to the Canadian game, which has not been so easy. Kahari.
And guys, I'm hanging out here on the Toronto sideline, and one of the things that I've heard is if Mike McMahon doesn't move the ball on this series, then Damon Allen is going to see the game. One of the things I'm seeing from Mike McMahon is he is really eyeing down his receivers. Just about every time he throws the ball, he is looking just at one guy and one guy alone, and that's not going to win you any ball games.
So he's telegraphing where he's putting the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah, we talked about that in the first quarter. He seemed to be locking on as initial receiver.
2nd and 10. He did have a drop, though. Benefit, though, of a penalty by Chevrier. McMahon straight back, flushed by Gargiulo, now running. Gargiulo in pursuit. McMahon will run, and stepping out of bounds very close to the first down marker, and a great effort by the NFL veteran.
Well, he's not finding much success throwing the ball downfield, so I guess on this play, rather than force the situation, he's going to tuck it and show some good speed and athleticism to get away from Gargiulo, the defensive end, and as you say, almost picks up a first down. They're going to bring in the sticks to measure.
You know, that year that McMahon pronounced himself the best quarterback available in the 2001 NFL draft, Michael Vick and Drew Brees, of course, going in the first round, and McMahon had to wait until the 5th round when Detroit Lions picked him. He's had all kinds of accolades. His former coach, Terry Shea at Rutgers, who was known to be one of the best quarterback development coaches in U.S. college football, said McMahon had better mechanics than any quarterback he'd ever seen. But the question is, can he be a winner? Can he get his completion ratio up? And can he throw more touchdowns than interceptions? That's been his knock. He's always thrown more picks than TDs.
Well, in the 7 games he played at Philadelphia in 2005, his record was 1-6.
1st and 10, McMahon. And he throws a pass in the backfield that was nearly a lateral intended for Darryl Mitchell, but it hops off the turf, and that was not accurate.
And that's just something that repetitions will cure, Mark. He's sitting there and he's just trying to time, and he's trying to lead the receiver. He just leads the receiver too much. And you see Damon Allen right now, ball in hand, looking at the plays, probably pretty excited right now from going a couple weeks ago to 3rd string to a very distinct possibility of entering this game.
Think back the last time Damon Allen in his distinguished career was a backup. You got to go back to the mid-'80s in Edmonton when he backed up Matt Dunnigan. 23rd year in the league. Here's McMahon under more pressure. Across the middle, incomplete, intended for Palmer, with the linebacker Cornelius Anthony in coverage, and there they go again, another punt situation.
Well, another punt situation, but also we talked about, you know, Jim Koshman, the umpire, getting involved in the play.
That might be it,
Damon
too.
Allen on that play. It looked like that Mike McMahon was throwing it to Koshman because he was so far deep that Palmer lost the ball behind him.
So Damon Allen warming up on the Argo sideline, and McMahon trying to sort out the offense. Prefontaine with a nice punt again, deep. Marcus Howell at his own 12. Howell to the near side, up the sideline, stopped and tripped up. Brian Crawford got his hand on him. A 58-yard punt by Prefontaine, a 25-yard return, and the decorated all-time pro passing leader, Damon Allen, pulled in the season opener, getting a chance to come in to this football game off the bench as he warms on the Toronto sideline. A reminder, our next football game, including BC and Calgary, coming your way with the pregame show at 6:30 Eastern next Saturday. Right back here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. First down at the 36. Burris in Calgary trying to get something going. Reynolds with a straight arm, can't get away. Khalil Carter filling from the halfback position with a shoestring tackle on the big back.
Well, that's one of the things that makes your defense even more dangerous, is the fact that you got guys who could come up from the secondary position and put hits on a tough running back to bring down. Khalil Carter, great job, open field, bringing down a very difficult running back in open space.
Carter taking Clifford Ivory's job at that halfback position, has 2 picks already this season, and a couple of heads-up laterals to Orlando Steinauer on those picks. 2nd and 7. Burris throwing a deep corner. Copeland's open. He's got it. He's in behind the secondary. Copeland in a foot race is cut from behind. Jordan Younger brings him down.
Mark, great protection on that offensive line, because they're going to try and bring some pressure. It's one-on-one. Nothing fancy. Just going to run to the sideline and then turn it up, and he gets a couple steps, and Jordan Younger mistimes his effort to knock the ball down. Jermaine Copeland, the veteran, the wily veteran, looks that ball in. A big play. We talked about it. Got an opportunity to play. We said he might be the spark for this Stampeder offense. Big play by him right there.
Big play indeed. 66 yards. Remember, Copeland had that meaningless touchdown late in the 4th quarter last week, and maybe that got him a chance to be a leader and a starter here today as they bench Nick Lewis, and the Stamps are threatening here. 1st and goal from the 5. Bunch formation. Burris handing off. Reynolds with nowhere to go as Kevin Ivan makes first contact, and the gain will be about 2 on the play.
Well, I think one of the things that this Argonaut defense has really strengthened itself is its run defense. You see defense coordinator Rich Stuber right there. He's got some great team speed on that defense. They do a great job of filling holes. They're not the biggest, but they wrap up and tackle extremely well.
That's a good point, Chris. Through 3 games last year, the Stubler run defense was second last in the CFL. They allowed an average of 130 yards a game. This year, they're in second, cutting that to 67 yards a game. And Belly has been a big factor.
Get on the line, Willie.
Second and goal from the 4. Burris will pass. He's got time. Now pressure. Throwing deep. Nearly intercepted. Jordan Younger, who was burned on the big play by Copeland, breaks it up in the end zone. And it was Ryan Thelwell, the intended receiver, on the final play of the third. So the Rich Stubler bend don't break #1 rated pass defense stiffens and prevents a passing touchdown. They've given up 1 only in this football game to Joffrey Reynolds.
Well, but you know, I like the fact that they're aggressive. They've gone deep. I mean, think about this. Copeland with the 66-yarder.
It's the only deep ball they've completed.
Well, he had the 45-yarder that was challenged by Clemens. It was overturned. So he's being the deep threat.
That doesn't count.
Oh, no, it doesn't count. But you thought it was a catch, so it counts to you.
The placement from the 11, and it's good from DeAngelis. So the Stamps will settle for a field goal and open a 13-point lead as Damon Allen comes into the football game off the bench and back at the controls of the Argo offense for the first time since he was pulled in the 4th quarter of the season opener against BC at home.
And he wasn't happy. His numbers were 14 of 18, 78%, 130 yards, 1 touchdown, and said, was this predetermined? I wasn't doing anything wrong. They just felt they wanted to give Michael Bishop a shot. He wasn't happy about it, but he sat there, didn't say anything, didn't sulk, and he's going to get his opportunity right now.
Yeah, he said that week in practice, all 3 quarterbacks shared the first team reps. So Damon Allen off the bench here in the 4th quarter. Will hand off, and Jamel White will help the veteran quarterback with a big gainer. A run of 8 yards as we check the statistics through 3 quarters of play.
Well, I'll tell you, the 3rd quarter is strictly defense. It was all about defense, except for the big play by Copeland, 66 yards, that led to the DeAngelis field goal. I mean, basically, both defenses are taking away everything. That's why we see Mike McMahon. He's being substituted by Damon Allen. We've seen the problems with Henry Burris until that last drive. Other part of that 3rd quarter was just 2 and out.
2nd and 2 for Allen, who turns 44 a week tomorrow. Handing off, Jamel White has a hole, tries to bounce outside, and he's brought down by Grant Clemens, or rather Trey Young on the play, but he'll have a first down with a carry of 4.
Mark, it always mystifies me when you change a quarterback and it seems like the entire offense starts to get a little bit more of a lift. Now, I know when you got a guy like McMahon who doesn't have a lot of experience, there might be some questions, but you know, they're all looking right now at Damon Allen going, man, am I glad you're back in this huddle.
Yes, he is a decorated veteran and a respected football player, and now getting a chance at the helm. Allen with time, throwing, complete. Andre Talbot with a nice move, and he'll have a first down as Allen throws a nice bullet on the slant. Kahari from the sidelines.
Guys, it's funny because there's one thing that you can't buy, and that's experience. As soon as Damon gets into the game, he looks like he has been there before. And remember, in that first game, he was 14 for 18 with 1 touchdown. So it wasn't like he wasn't playing well. They just felt like they had a better option in Bishop. But Damon can still play football.
Yeah, they felt that Bishop challenged the defense better because of his running attack. And ironically, it was that running attack that got him injured with the broken wrist. Here's Allen again. And incomplete, a mix-up, too short for Satut and too far for Mitchell. Incomplete.
Well, and I believe that Satut on that play, the rookie wide receiver, was in the wrong spot. Mitchell cut it down short in the slot back position. Satut is way too close to him. anytime you have two receivers in the same portion of the field, that brings all the defenders in there. You've got to clear one and open up an avenue for your other receiver.
You know, Allen was really hurt by an article the week after he was pulled, saying that he wasn't a team player, wasn't a mentor, didn't help anybody else out, was into his own career. Now he's got a chance to help lift this team off the floor. Here comes the blitz. Allen reads it across to Satut. He's got it, and he's at full gallop. Knocked down by Cedric Williams, but a flag on the play back near the line of scrimmage, and the Stamps are saying it's coming back.
Well, it was the receivers. These are the toughest penalties, Mark, because of the fact you know the snap count. It's a great
Offside.
play.
Toronto number 87. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Well, the veteran Daryl Mitchell's going to jump the gun. He's on the short side of the field, but it negates a great play by Allen to Satut. And here he is right here. There he is right there. Now watch. You know the snap count. Fully a yard above the line of
I've seen that
scrimmage.
100 times this year.
Well, I know, but that's the problem. Is you got to time it up.
Yeah, you can't be across the line of scrimmage. Some guys get away with it, some guys don't. But it wipes out an 18-yard play by the rookie, Obed Satut. 2nd and 15. Allen rolling now. He's got room to run. He's throwing deep. Talbot's behind the secondary, and the ball is 10 yards out of bounds and incomplete.
That might have been a tough catch for Talbot to get. He'd have had to buy a ticket in the first row to get that one. Interesting to see that Damon Allen gets to the outside. He gets away. You almost thought he might have pulled it down and run with it. Didn't look like he had anybody in front of him. He decided to go long and try and hit Andre Talbot down the sideline.
Yeah, the 23-year veteran still with some cat-like moves. As he gets outside, McMahon, on the other hand, has been a pocket passer and been easier to get to by that Calgary defense. Prefontaine with a big punt, and Howell lets it bounce. It doesn't go into the end zone. Back out to the 7. Howell straight upfield for a short gain on the play. You're watching the CFL on CBC in HD. Adriano Belli just having words with some of the offensive linemen for Calgary. He's been getting a little frustrated in the trenches. Let's check in.
Mic'd Up, brought to you by Rogers, Canada's most reliable wireless network.
Guys, watch them tackling me, eh? You guys call the unnecessary roughness there. I was trying to get them off my feet.
Yeah, number?
All right? All of them. Tackling.
Offensive lineman tackling?
I don't know where he gets that information.
Well, he's put out an APB in all the Hoggies.
You know what? That's usually a sign of frustration, Mark, that he's not getting to where he wants to go.
Henry Burris, good on 2 of 5 attempts in the second half for 84 yards, including that 66-yard bomb to Copeland, the only long bomb he's completed against this pass defense. Play action, he'll run this time, and he'll have a first down as that Argo defense parted like the Red Sea on the play.
And this is a great job by Henry Burris, recognizing that the defensive ends are not respecting him on a bootleg. They're all going to just pinch inside, so he fakes the little play action, rolls to the outside, and it's just a foot race. Smart play calling by Henry Burris in that play, recognizing what the defense is doing.
Burris with the deepest start of the game. This drive beginning at the Calgary 15-yard line. First down at the 29. Burris in the shotgun. Pitch pass to Kenyon Rambo. They get a block on Carter, and Rambo hustles upfield. Bo Richter helping out with a block along with Copeland. And a gain there of about 8.
Well, the nice play we saw, as you say, Copeland with the big 66-yarder. But watch what he does when he's not catching the ball. Rambo's outside. There's Khalil Carter. You see him getting up after Copeland cuts him. Look at this, is a great job. You got to help your teammates. That's a great job.
Great block
of taking Carter out of it and allowing Rambo to pick up some good yards.
Second and about 2.5. Staggered cadence on the ground. Joffrey Reynolds straight arming his way through Belly. The two of them former teammates at Houston, reacquainting themselves here on the Canadian gridiron, and McMahon.
Well, they really like Belly because he brings a swagger to that defense. I mean, we all have heard stories about how the prowess of the pass prevention, but this guy is just, I mean, he gets it done in the middle. He's a horse in that middle. He's a character, he's a great locker room guy, and he's a leader.
Remember a year ago, the Argos were flying in veteran Noah Cantor on the day before games to have him work that nose tackle position. Pumping, Burris steps through the rush, throwing deep downfield. He's got a receiver wide open. It's Bo Richter to the end zone. Touchdown.
Mark, great patience shown by Henry Burris. He sat back there, believed in his protection, and waited, because this play takes time to develop as Bo Richter has to come all the way across the field. He sits there, you see a jubilant Burris right there. Nice job of getting the ball on him. And Bo Richter, who scores his first touchdown as a Stampeder since 2001. Remember, he left 5 years and played with Kansas in the NFL. He's happy to find that pay dirt again.
He had a 68-yarder in the Grey Cup in 2001. 70 yards here for the touchdown, Chris. His first catch of the football game. The point after by DeAngelis is good. And the Stamps take a firmer grip since 2001 and a 70-yard touchdown pass and run.
Well, it all starts with the protection. They're going to try and bring a bit of a blitz. You see the linebackers hugging close to the line of scrimmage. That's Mike Fletcher. And as a result, I mean, you got to give him time. When he gets time, he allows Bo Richter to run away from the coverage. The second long pass completion, this one for pay dirt, that Burris has gone after this Argo defense.
Bo Richter came into the game leading the Stampeders in receiving yards with 126. As you mentioned, his first receiving touchdown upon his return to the CFL.
And remember this, we talked about the Argo defense. They've only given up one touchdown via the air coming into this game. They've given up 2 today.
Livingston and his 15 to the wide side. Up the hash marks and nowhere to go. Mark Calixt. Another special teams yeoman effort for the Canadian. Reminder, warrior of the game, during this second half, call upon you to log on to cbc.ca and cast your vote. cbcsports.ca/CFL and let us know who you think the player with heart, determination, and true grit is in this football game. Warrior of the game brought to you by the all-new GMC Sierra. Professional grade. Damon Allen, his second series at the helm, in relief. His pass is incomplete. He lost his grip, it looked like it. Almost like he wanted to pump that one.
And you got to remember one thing about Damon Allen. On his throwing hand, the finger that he broke, Marcus, the long one in the middle. And as he tried, maybe that's given him a little problem holding on to the football. But as you say, he just tries to pump fake. And as he tries to bring it down, he just loses control of the ball. Very fortunate to fall on it.
He had the surgery last year after the season on that middle finger, and it didn't really heal perfectly straight. It's still permanently curved. Allen straight back. Lots of time across the middle, complete to Michael Palmer. Shannon James drapes him from behind, and it's a first down. Toronto.
Great job of that offensive line, allowing Damon Allen to sit back, forms a nice pocket. That's exactly what you want. He's just going to sit back there and wait for Michael Palmer to come across underneath. Threads the ball right to him, and he picks up a nice first down.
Michael Palmer, the 5-year veteran out of Guelph, hearing a little footsteps with this young kid, Obed Satut, making some waves in his rookie season. Big catch there for Palmer, the veteran. 6 receiver set. Allen throwing to the short sideline. It's complete, just shy of the first down marker. Brandon Browner makes the hit on the rookie. Brad Smith, the son of former CFL commissioner Larry Smith, current Alouette president. The rookie out of Queens with his first CFL catch.
I'll tell you, on that play, had that ball been delivered any slower to Brad Smith, Cornelius Anthony was going the other way.
Brad Smith, a 6th round pick in the CFL draft, trying to make a name for himself. There's a botched long snap to Damon Allen. He fumbles the ball. The Stamps have it. The first turnover of the game committed by the Argos on this botched snap. Calgary on
as he tries to fall on the football, can't secure it. There's Johnny on the spot. Scott Cody, Manitoba native.
Scooped it up. First down. There's Damon Allen.
So I had to drop all the way.
Checks in with his offense. 1st and 10 at the Toronto 40. Burris pumping. He wants to go deep again. Throwing to the end zone. And Thelwell can't bring it in. Jordan Younger, the cornerback in coverage, and the ball may have gone off the back of his helmet.
Well, I like the aggressiveness shown by Henry Burris and the fact that he's attacking this defense. Great protection again. This time, watch Joffrey Reynolds as he slides out right over here and picks up the blitzing Kevin I, but that allows, look at that, good strength, allows Henry Burris to follow through properly and go deep and try and get the ball to Ryan Thelwell.
Good battle for the ball. Thelwell couldn't bring it in, Kahari.
And just like you said, Chris, success breeds confidence. And once you get some success throwing the ball downfield, you want to do it more and more. So that's what you're seeing right now.
Burris to the flats. Kenyon Rambo stays in bounds, beats 2 Argos, now heads upfield. Look at the shiver and juke there to the 10 for the veteran Rambo. Yards. And his teammates trying to calm him down as he pointed some fingers at the Argo defense.
You know, Tom Higgins said earlier this week, we just don't have any elite receivers right now after the 2 games they've got lambasted. Well, I'll tell you what, the receivers are showing some heart and character right here. This is what it's all about. Don't go out of bounds. Fight through 2 would-be tacklers. Spins away from Steinhauer. And even here, when he's going to get hit by Parker from behind, and Ivan, he's still fighting for yards.
And he gave Ivan the hairy eyeball. 1st and 10 from the 11. Joffrey Reynolds is stuffed by the Argo defense on the ground. And Burris's numbers now with those big completions, he's over 300 yards passing, 308 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, good on 16 of 30 tonight.
And the guy with the new attitude, Jermaine Copeland, is the man responsible for putting the spark in this offense. Made some big plays today, and now everybody's picking up on that. It's almost contagious. Kenyon Rambo with a great play previous to this one.
Yes, Copeland checking his ego at the door, starting the season as a backup. And a prime-time player here tonight. Burris rolling the pocket, throwing the deep corner to Copeland. Incomplete, and a great defensive play by Khalil Carter at the last minute, deflecting the ball away.
You're right, Mark. Great reaction as the ball is in flight, because Khalil Carter has to turn all the way around to try and get a hand on this ball. It looks like it. Look as he goes back down. He has to leave his feet, time it perfectly. If he doesn't, I'm going to tell you, at the back of the end zone, Copeland's getting a touchdown.
Copeland
Excellent.
was open. And you're right, Burris is going deep. He had 1 deep completion. That was the bomb to Copeland in the second half, and now he's been going deep regularly against this Argo secondary.
Well, you look at, you got Copeland starts it off, Bo Richter with the 70-yarder, Kenyon Rambo making the big play, and I love what he did because he made the play after the catch, yards after the catch, yak yards, tough yards.
The center, John Comiskey, is the injured Stampeder, and he's being helped to his feet now. They hope it's not serious because they already lost Derek Armstrong in the preseason to a broken leg.
And he's had a bad ankle, and that looks like what he's favoring. He's had a problem with that since training camp.
Missed the 2nd preseason game. Kahari, what have you got from the sideline?
Guys, I also think another big reason for them being able to throw the deep ball and just be able to throw the ball effectively is knowing who your receivers are. They've narrowed it down, and unfortunately Nick Lewis had to pay the price this game, but they've narrowed it down, and by doing that, those guys get to have a real feel for the game, know what those defensive backs are trying to do against them, and you're seeing the results right now.
Yep, 3 straight scores, a field goal, a touchdown, and a field goal for the Stamps. This placement from the 15. Sandro DeAngelis is good. 3 for 3 on the night as the Stamps open the lead. By the gold medal matchup, the Czech Republic taking on 5-time champion Argentina tomorrow on CBC. Henry Burris over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns against the #1 pass defense in the CFL. DeAngelis with a deep kickoff to the Toronto 6. Frank Murphy on the return, and he's caught quickly. Dwayne Carpenter, the NFL veteran in his first CFL game, with a special teams tackle, a defender we may see more of as this season moves on. They're really high on him, Chris.
Absolutely, and you know what? In all honesty, I'm going to kind of echo what Greg Frere said and what we said earlier in the game, that you got to give some sort of a little bit of a leeway to this offense of the Argos. And the fact they're missing Arlen Bruce, they're missing Tony Miles, Michael Bishop, who had a great game before he got hurt last week against the Stampeders. There's some key players.
Yeah, it's been quite a drop, though. The Argos leading the CFL with 100 points over 3 games. And now without Michael Bishop, Don Cole. Allen has trouble and then drills the ball right into one of the defensive linemen, incomplete. And Karan Williams looks like he got a meat hook on that one.
Well, he's just sitting in the pocket right now, and I'm really surprised by this because Damon Allen is most effective when he's on a rollout. I don't like him sitting in the pocket. If he gets out, he still has the ability to beat you with his legs, and he gets out there and gets a chance to maybe see something from a different angle. Right now, he's kind of hanging on to that football. They do a great job of keeping him in the pocket.
Yeah, but the pocket's collapsing.
Well, he's got time. I mean, there's about 5-6 seconds there. I mean, you can't expect these guys to hold out forever.
That may have been a fumble. More pressure. Allen escapes. Now he throws to the wide side. A one-hopper incomplete. Obed Satut, the young Canadian, was the intended receiver. So the Argos, on a dreary offensive evening for them, are forced to punt.
And one of the things that Michael Bishop, and I don't want to keep beating this guy's name to death, but one of the things he does give you, Mark, and you, as well you know, is the strength to throw those across-field passes and get to the receiver. That one just falls short. And I mean, it just forces, now you can see all the life is out of the Argos right now. They're waiting for the clock to run to 0, get on that play and get back and regroup.
Yes, the performance of the 2 Argo quarterbacks today puts a spotlight on just how great Bishop has been in this offense. But again, don't forget Arlen Bruce and Tony Miles not in the lineup tonight for Toronto. And that kick return stopped in its tracks. Ryan Crawford making the tackle, and a flag on the play. Ryan Thelwell is slow to get up. Now he makes his way to his feet, and a call is going against Calgary.
Holding. Calgary 29, 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's Dwayne Carpenter after a special teams tackle. He takes a penalty.
Well, he made a good play in the last special teams series. This one he might not be too happy about watching him film tomorrow.
So Kahari Jones reinforcing the continuity being a factor in the receiving corps for Henry Burris, over 300 yards here tonight. It brings up the question, what about Nick Lewis next week?
Well, I think, you know what, in all honesty, I think that Tom Higgins had no other choice but to send a message to his offense. He benched the guy basically. Come on, he sat him down, the leading receiver for the last couple of years, and you saw in his interview earlier, he's anxious to get back into this game.
Pitch out to Joffrey Reynolds. The Argo defense strings it out. He reverses field, gets a nice block from the quarterback on belly. Now he's outside. Henry Burris springing. Joffrey Reynolds on a block on Adriano Belli.
Not only that, he hurt Adriano Belli.
A 30-yard run as Smiling Hank enjoys it. The 3-minute warning given to the benches at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. Adriano Belli down on one knee at the Argo sideline after taking a big block from the quarterback Henry Burris, making a case for Warrior of the game.
Well, I mean, he's just going to come around, and there's Henry Burris. Now watch as he gets into the rib cage underneath the shoulders of Adriano Belli, and I tell you what, he's going to take some ribbing because you never want to leave a game. And then the hustle, look at the hustle by Mike O'Shea. Some guys just never quit.
Rob Lazio with a great block on O'Shea.
I'm all right.
And a drop pass, Kenyon Rambo should have had it. O'Shea chopped down on a good block by Lazio on that last 30-yard run. by Joffrey Reynolds.
Well, I want to show you something about Mike O'Shea. Mike O'Shea doesn't stay on the ground. This is why he's the leader of the Argo defense. He gets up. Now, as you say, this is a great block. Look, he gets cut. Now, most guys will stay down there and say, I hope somebody tackles him. Look at the hustle of 50. 15-year CFL veteran getting down there, making the play. You got to love that effort.
Yeah, he leads by example, no question. 2nd and 10. Argos blitzing. Stamps go off the gut to Joffrey Reynolds. He'll have a gain of 7 on the play. Kevin Ivan and Riel Johnson making the tackle for the Argos.
And Mark, when you got a 26-3 lead, this is where you can really have fun on offense. You can really run the ball. We talked about that. It's good to see that Adriano Belli is feeling better. But you know what? He will take some ribbing because he's the guy that puts quarterbacks out of the game, and he's going to sit there and know he's going to get some heat for the fact that Henry Burris put him out of the game.
Yeah, he wanted to come back in, but Stubler stopped him to get away 3 plays after an injury. And you look at Belli, he doesn't wear a lot of padding. He wears those small, almost like hockey shoulder pads, trying to stay light, and doesn't have a lot of protection after taking that shot from Burris. A field goal attempt for DeAngelis, who is 3 for 3 tonight, longest from 28. This will be an attempt from just inside the 47. His longest is 48. It's a fake, and they've completely fooled the Argos. Touchdown. Trey Young on the fake field goal scores for Calgary. Brett Ralph, the holder, with a terrifically executed fake.
I mean, this is rubbing salt in the wound, but it's also finding out that your players are basically relaxed, looking at the clock, and their heads aren't in the football game because beautifully executed fake field goal by the special teams. I wonder if Craig Dickinson's been working on that for a long time, but look at that. There's nobody there. And watch Trey Young at the end. He's almost going to celebrate, not even seeing that, oh, there's Bashir Livingston, who's got an opportunity to try and tackle him, but not before he gets into the end zone.
Come on, fellas, be smart here now. Be smart, fellas.
39 yards. The touchdown by the safety Trey Young on the fake. It fooled the Argos. And now it's official. It's a rout. 20 unanswered points scored by Calgary.
A little bit of a payback for last game. And the biggest thing that the Stampeders does, we take another look at that beautifully executed fake field goal, is the fact that they've protected the football. Last game against the Argonauts, 10 turnovers. This game, they've done a much better job.
They pulled a similar fake on Montreal a year ago when Wes Cates took it in, but it was called back because of an eligibility issue. But this time they got Trey Young outside the tackles, and now there's a flag at the Calgary bench. Check your game notes, Chris Walby, on offense for the Argos.
Exploiting the inexperienced. 6 new faces in that defense. McMahon, Allen, only 9 completions. Boy, they're under fire a lot. Not in sync with the receivers at all. On defense, keep Burris guessing. Well, I'll tell you what, they did a good job for the most part as they were on the field a lot in the first half. But Burris was aggressive and went after the teeth of the Tigers, threw the ball deep and got some big plays to Bo Richter, Rambo, and Jermaine Copeland.
Okay, hold up, sir. I'm doing 2 minutes. I'm doing 2 minutes.
Well, home field has been a bomb for the Stampeders. Trey Young, the hard-hitting safety, gets his hands in the football in a scoring role here tonight. A 39-yard fake field goal for a touchdown. But the Stampeders beaten by a total of 97-23 in 2 huge road losses to Saskatchewan and Toronto. Rebound at home and are about to win their 8th consecutive home game going back to last season. Jermaine Mays reversing field and forced out of bounds.
Number 24, Jermaine Mays.
For a short return. Your Calgary game notes, Mr. Walby.
Well, we talked about chemistry 101 on offense. They had penalties, dropped balls. Look at that, 470 yards offense, 2 touchdowns. They started off right in the first quarter and finished it strong in the fourth. Defense, baptism by fire. Half your starting defense is in its first year. They held the Argos net offense to 112 yards. Hey, no first downs in the first quarter.
Yes, one of the hottest offenses in the league to start the season. Grounded by injury and inexperience at the quarterback position on behalf of Mike McMahon. Now the veteran, Damon Allen, looking for a completion. It's incomplete. Intended for Brad Smith, the rookie out of Queen's University. Trey Young, though, the hard-hitting free safety, celebrating his first ever CFL touchdown on a masterfully executed fake on the field goal.
Well, you got to love it. And I mean, those guys love to get in the touchdown, get their name in the paper. I mean, Trey Young does another nice thing. I mean, he's one of the hardest hitters, if not the hardest hitting safety in the CFL.
Leading the Stampeders in tackles coming into this game, had 2 interceptions, including one against Toronto last week, and now a touchdown. Daryl Mitchell with the completion. He needed 28 yards coming into this game to pass Paul Masadi as the all-time leading receiver for the Argos, and that's just his first catch of the football game. 9 yards.
Well, they tried to throw the ball to Daryl Mitchell, but it just seemed like they were on the same page. If Mitchell came to the inside, the ball was thrown to the outside, and vice versa. And that's the first completion, as you say, to Daryl Mitchell.
Gain of 9 for Mitchell, needs 19 for the record. 3rd and 1, and the Argos will stay on offense and gamble with nothing to lose here in the final 2 minutes of the football game. On the ground, nowhere to go. And the defensive line for Calgary stiffens.
I've been very impressed with the front 3. And I know they've done a lot of rotating in there. Chevrier.
It's Craig Dickinson, the special teams coordinator, and the Wizard who created that fake. That short yardage gain, though, Chris, was enough for the first down for Toronto.
But they've got some great pressure. Terrius George, Patrick, K'Ron Williams, Gargiulo. They've really done a nice job of stopping the run and putting some pressure on the quarterbacks.
Well, after giving up a block punt last week, they get a touchdown on special teams this week. Allen's got time. Now he's going to run. Jamel White with a block, and the veteran diving safely for a first down, and now a flag in behind the play in the Argo backfield.
Well, it looks like it's against Dave Costa, 68. He's not happy. He's going right after the official, wants to talk to him. They had Terrius George on his back, and that was where the flag was thrown. That was behind the play after Damon Allen had taken off for a first down. You see a lot of bad blood being exchanged right there. Dave Costa.
Unnecessary runs. Toronto 68, 15-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Costa heads to the sideline. 59 seconds on the clock. With the win here tonight, Calgary evening its record to 2-2, moving into a second-place tie with Saskatchewan, who began the season 2-0 and have lost 2 straight. Argos 2-2, second in the East behind Winnipeg.
Argonauts push back to their own 30 for first 25.
First and 25 after the penalty. Allen facing a 4-man rush downfield. Murphy the catch, breaks the tackle on Stewart, and what an effort.
Allen drops it in beautifully.
A first down and more through traffic for the veteran Frank Murphy. A gain of 35 yards.
Damon Allen hung in there until the very last minute. They're going to bring the blitz and loop and end around. He's going to take a shot after he delivers that ball. Nicely thrown to Frank Murphy, who does a nice job of picking up additional yards. Sometimes you got to pay the price to get a completion. He holds on to that ball. Looks to me like he got hit late by that play. Terrius George getting away with one on that one.
30-year-old NFL veteran with a big play. Allen against the blitz, gets it away. It's complete to Daryl Mitchell. A short yardage play. You'll have a game about 2 on that one, Chris.
Well, it's one of those situations where we're not even trying to force the ball to Daryl Mitchell today. It's take a look how close he is to passing Paul Masadi for the all-time receiving yard leader in the Argos.
So that will be listed as a gain of 2. He has a total of 11 in 2 catches here late in the 4th quarter. Still 17 from the record. Allen pumping. It's complete again to Daryl Mitchell. And Mitchell fighting his way across the 30-yard line for a gain of 13, now 4 shy of the record, as the Argos apparently in the final seconds here looking for a moral victory. 5 seconds to go. First down at the 29, and this will be the final play of this debacle for the Argos. Allen with a 6-receiver set. Back to pass. Stepping up. Now throwing deep to the end zone. Jump ball. Touchdown. Obed Satut with his first CFL touchdown on the final play of the football game. 29 yards.
Well,
the young man out of Central Michigan.
Denny Crean's not going to be happy because his defense has played very, very well, and you'd never want them to relax at the last second. You allow Damon Allen to come in here, avoid the rush, and as you say, steps up, watch him step away from the pressure. He's going to run away from it, and then he's just going to loft it into the end zone. As you say,
Brandon Browner on the play along with Brandon Stewart, the 2 rookies on the boundary. And so they will cap that scoring play of 29 yards with the point after, as Noel Prefontaine comes out for the convert. But on a very inadequate night for the Argo offense, the young Canadian Obed Satut with his first ever CFL touchdown for Pinball Clemens and the Argos, hurting with the loss of Michael Bishop, Arlen Bruce, and Tony Miles. The point after is good. As the gun sounds to end this football game, the Calgary Stampeders bouncing back from a 48-15 slaughter loss last week in Toronto with a one-sided 33-10 win over Toronto here at home, their 8th straight win at home going back to last season. Now here's Doug Dirks.
I'm here with Henry Burris. Henry took a lot of criticism the last 2 weeks. How do you answer the critics today?
Well, you know how it is. Despite whatever happens, the quarterback always gets blamed, even if there's a missed tackle, too. So the thing is, we just wanted to come out here and reassert ourselves. And like I said, there's no place like home, and it was good to get back home and get re-energized and be able to come out with a big victory today.
And what was the difference as far as you were concerned?
No turnovers. I mean, no turnovers, and we executed. We didn't have any penalties. I mean, we had a couple, but we were able to come back and execute when we were in the penalty situation. And the guys up front did a great job of containing their great defensive ends and defensive line. So, kudos to all the guys up front. When you win the trenches, you have a great chance to win the war, and that's pretty much what happened today.
You're up 23 points, and you're throwing a block to spring Joffrey Reynolds. You sending a message to the team that you're going to lead by example?
Hey, I mean, it's all about reaction, right? You see opportunity where Joffrey had to cut back, and you're just looking for somebody to get in their way. I wasn't trying to hit him that hard, but, again, that was a big guy, so I had to make sure I gave him a little bit just to, kind of make sure he didn't get Joffrey tackled. But, anything I can do to help the team out. I mean, I'm not a mean guy. I just want to win a championship, and that's what it's all about. And, families sacrifice so much, and that's all you want to do is win a championship for your family. And that's why I'm out here, and that's why I work hard for this family and for my family at home.
Henry, thanks for this, and congratulations.
Hey, thanks a lot. Hi to everybody in Oklahoma. See y'all.
Mark?
Henry Burris, 300 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns, a big block, and a little sarcasm for good measure as the Calgary Stampeders win big here at home.